What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Doc Holiday, and we back. We back with another HBCU OverDrive live show. Hold on, let me see if they work. If you haven't done it by now, always make sure that you like the stream. Make sure that you like all the content that I put out. Also, make sure that you are commenting on all the videos and sharing it with people. But most of all, make sure you become a subscriber. Make sure you become a subscriber. Subscribe to the livest YouTube channel that's out there right now. Right now. So as I'm waiting on for my co-host to come on, we gonna get into some things right now. Okay, excuse me. First and foremost, I want to send I want to send my condolences off to Miss Sabrina. This is a new microphone. New microphone. And trying to see if this soundboard is working, but I don't know if it's working or not. But we making do with what we have right here. There's a couple of people I wanna. Yeah. First of all, let me get into that. It is the weather is bad here in Dallas, in Texas, North Texas. So pretty much all schools and all mostly everything's gonna be shut down tonight. My wife's job, they shut down the clinic where she works at. So they shut that down tonight. And so she's off tomorrow. He will be kids are off tomorrow. And I'm normally off. So yeah, you say it's 60 degrees in Alabama and it's like 25 out here. So yeah, we are pretty much hunkered down, got the heat going on right here, which it's cool. Oh, hold on. I don't want to see everything. I don't know everybody see everything. So pretty much. Yeah, it's I wouldn't say a storm, not just yet, but it's getting there. So here in Texas, we don't do too well when it comes to snow and ice. So we tend to stay our butts in the house. We tend to stay in the house. We got wintry mix going to be all day. I mean, for the rest of the night tonight, and then pretty much all day tomorrow. And probably going into Wednesday. So we are pretty much in the house. So I'm we're not sending our kids out. Even though tomorrow I'm off tomorrow. Wednesday I might not even be going to work. Man, it Jacinto, it all depends on the as far as the like where you at, but it really wasn't. It's not that bad. Most of the time we got our water dripping, got the faucets dripping. What up, Chuck? Yeah, it's good. It's good. It all depends on what Wednesday look like. Wednesday, if it's terrible, I'm not going nowhere. And then we'll still do updates and pretty much we're pretty much basically do the recap of all the players that signed to their respective schools, institutions. But tomorrow, 2 o'clock, it has been confirmed and it has been approved. I will have that interview with athletic director Dr. Monique Carroll from Chicago State University. Have a casual conversation as background. What's her tie-in with HBCUs and what as of the nitty gritty about the exploratory committee that's looking to bring football to Chicago, on the south side of Chicago. So be on the lookout for that right there. So I actually put my I won't say blood, sweat, tears, but I actually went out there and dang near I actually went out there I just put myself out there, congratulating them on the good news, and then pretty much they hit me up. She thanked me, and then I hit her up, and I talked to the SID over the weekend, and boom, we in it to win it, y'all. So yeah, we are in it to win it. Still waiting on for my co-host to come on. she got to get right. But first of all, I am going to send my condolences to the family of Tyree Nichols. And I know I ain't gonna say it, as all y'all know. I want to, we all seen what happened. We all seen what was going on, and we basically, my stomach turned, y'all, watching that video, and it I didn't not like it, and then for the simple fact that they're black, it hurt me. It hurt me, and so to see that happen, justice will be served, y'all. Justice will be served, but I would say this: if you're gonna serve justice to these individuals right here, are you gonna try them to the fullest letter of the law? But hey, my co-host, what's up?
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I was waiting on the link. I was in the chat.
Oh Lord.
I have the link.
Situation at Memphis, and my whole thing is: are you gonna throw the book at them, or are you gonna give them pretty much the same sentence that you give the white officers? Because transparency is hindsight, and if you literally throw the book at these guys, you basically, that's a double standard. Mr. Ford, how you doing?
Hey, can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Hey, how y'all doing?
We're doing good, doing good. We're trying to stay warm here in Dallas.
I just want to echo your sentiment about the young man Tyree Nichols. I need, a lot of people asking me today and were very upset about the fact that it was a number of black cops that did that. But I kept reminding them that you have to remember that were black people involved in the killing of Emmett Till. You should go back and read that book, Uncle Tom's Cabin. The author of that book was Harriet Beecher Stowe, and
Just so
she had a character called Sambo,
right,
who Simon Legree used to kill other black slaves. So it's not about a color thing; it's a mentality.
right,
It's a mentality. Yeah,
Also, it's interesting that they're not really saying too much about it, but the white officer is the one that said, I hope they stomp him out. And he's the first one to assault
with the
Tyree,
yeah,
but
taser.
he
right,
did not get charged with murder.
right,
Oh, but they did get him though. So it's actually seven. They got a seventh one. Um, and it's all crazy because it's like I'll tell my wife, I like the whole thing about you being an officer of the law is to protect and serve the community.
right.
And I'm not trying to be funny, but my my taxes pay your salary.
Oh yeah,
so 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 all we asking for is a little protection from weirdos and dummies and you know the 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 ones that basically have an affinity for doing crime. That's all we ask you to protect us for, and plus just to be a face in our community and uh, just to be a part of us. But if you're not gonna do that, then uh, I don't know. I don't know what to say. So
well, I have a friend who lived in Europe, and he used to have an assertion. He used to tell me that if America was all white, the police wouldn't even wear guns. We wouldn't even have a prison system. And he argued that point for many, many years.
I'll probably believe that though. I would believe
Yeah,
that though for real. I would
that's
believe
what he
it.
used to always say.
And I think they still giving they protested Saturday. I know it's some protests Saturday. I know it's one here in Dallas. It was a couple here in Dallas. So on Saturday. So, but it was peaceful. Uh, it was peaceful. We people went out there and spoke their truths and spoke their piece about what's
Right,
going on. And there was
right.
no violence. There was nothing of the sort where actual police had to get, said to get involved. So
Yeah, that Memphis police force has a raggedy history going way back. I'm talking about, you can go back to the 1968 sanitary workers strike and how they acted and what they did. I mean, they got a history behind them that's undeniable. It's a lot of bad stuff has happened up in Memphis with that police department.
yeah, if you a cop and you got beef with somebody, man,
They are all well, let's just keep it a buck. All
keep it.
five of those young men are going to jail for the rest of their natural lives. If they usually whenever it's a non Caucasian American police, they get charged quickly and their sentence is handed down pretty heavily. I would be actually surprised if the feds didn't also come in and charge them with like a human rights violation, a violation of
Yeah,
his rights or something like that.
I
you're
think
right.
they will.
Yeah,
They will.
yeah, that's
So they're
true.
They,
looking at, and they're very young, but they
Yeah,
will spend the rest of their natural lives in prison.
yeah,
And I
civil
don't,
rights violation. It'll be civil rights violation.
yeah, yeah. And you really think about it. So the last one you seen, we saw was Derek Chauvin
Yeah,
in Minneapolis, where he got the 20 some years, and then he also got another. 30 years fed time for the civil rights violation. So he pretty much almost going to spend majority of his life in prison because those run concurrent. So if you're doing your fed time, and then once you finish your fed time is day to day.
Yeah,
Pretty
the
sure they
word
would
the word
probably
here.
rather be in Fed than
With Fed, you got to serve it all.
You got to
yeah,
serve it all.
but if you're going to be in prison, you definitely don't want to be in state prison for 20 years.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the news here in Atlanta is that one of the policemen knew him, and supposedly both of them had a relationship with the same lady.
Yeah.
So there's a motive.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it was a motive.
yeah,
It was a motive
yeah.
for it.
Oh yeah.
It was a
So
motive for it.
basically, he done got his.
One of them, I think the policeman, it was his baby mama,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and the
she
young
was
man was dealing with her or something.
Yep. Yep. So it's a serious situation on that one, and let's just hope, man. Let's just hope and pray that there's no threats, because like I said, there's good officers out there that actually uphold the law. That's actually, they want to go home to their families without with no incidents. Because in a sense, I talk to a lot of police officers, and their whole thing is, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. If I got to stop you for public intoxication, I just want to write that up and just be on my way. Most of them, that's all it is. That's all they go there, they do a job just like all of us, get a check, and go home.
I'd like to recommend two books. One was written by a Swedish sociologist by the name of Gunnar Myrdal. It was written right after World War II. This Swedish sociologist came to America to analyze America from a sociological aspect. And one chapter of the book is about the police. And the book is called The American Dilemma. If you look it up, Doc, I think it was published maybe 1948 or 49. It's a classic book. So put in American Dilemma. American Dilemma. It was written by a guy named Gunnar Myrdal. He was Swedish. He wasn't an American citizen. He came over here to study America. And in the book, he did a chapter on the police. The chapter is like he wrote it last week. And what year was it? Was it 48 or 49? What year was that book published?
Let's see.
It's called The American Dilemma.
44. Originally published in 1944.
44. And listen, one of the things he did, he hired some of the top Black intellectuals in this country to help him put that book together. That's kind of lost to history. One of them was Sinclair Drake out of Chicago. Another one was Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. He hired both of them. Yeah.
That's another one on my hit list for Amazon.
Yeah.
This is pre Black History Month, everybody. So take it in. Mr. Ford, he's always dropping those gems, but specifically for the month of February, we're gonna get all that nice history from Mr. Ford.
Thank you.
Shout out to Coach Hayes football, man.
Yeah.
I went on his show. Tomorrow you went on his show, and
I went on his show. Boy, that was he didn't even give me a warning. He put me on the hot seat.
No, but Coach Hayes is real good, real cool. Also, what I'm saying, he a Hampton grad, so shout out to him.
Yeah, how you doing? He's from Miami, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So man, I just want to say, give my condolences out to the family of Mr. Nichols, and hope his family get the justice that they need. Oh yeah, it is SWAC basketball right now. I just finished looking at the Norfolk State and Central game. Norfolk State with the huge victory over Central,
Oh yeah, those are two great
77
coaches.
71. Yep.
Yeah, those are two. That's two of our best in HBCU. That guy Moulton, I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought he would have gotten a bigger job by now, but I love him. And the other guy that I think his name is Jones. Jones is out of New York, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Robert Jones.
Yeah, he's from New York. He's been there about 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Because the guy who had the job before him brought him. And that guy left and went to FIU, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then Jones took over Norfolk.
Oh yeah. And he doing the thing still.
Yeah, yes, he is.
Southern is up by 10 right now against Jackson State, 14-4. It just started, so
that one's on ESPN Plus.
ESPNU.
Yeah.
Oh, it says
ESPNU.
Plus.
Yeah, it's on ESPNU. It wasn't on ESPN Plus because of the fact that I think of some other guys on ESPN Plus. So, but yeah, it was on ESPNU. I did watch the Alabama State FAMU girls play. FAMU had probably like a 7-point lead, and I don't know if they got gassed out or it was. I watched it. They got gassed out, but mental mistakes, turning the ball over.
The alums at Florida A&M want both coaches out. They want the men's coach out and the women's coach out. That's going to be the first big job for that new athletic director. Does she know how to build a powerhouse women's program and a powerhouse men's program? Or is she going to rely on that nothing thing they call a search committee? Because, when we the black colleges do search committees, it turns out nothing. If you don't have an AD that knows how to build a program, you in trouble.
Yeah. So Alabama State just kept roaring back. Couple of down the stretch, it was a couple of fouls that I kind of look at and I'm like, nah, that should not have been a foul. One of them was the what was it? It was a charge by Ariana Grizzle, point guard. She was balling tonight. I think she had half of the points for FAMU tonight.
Okay.
So she had a little bit over 30 points, had like 7 rebounds, 5 assists. So she was balling tonight. The other ones, I don't know where they was at. They was nowhere to be found.
Right.
But Alabama State,
Lord, we getting our ass kicked.
Well, Jackson kind of starts off.
They didn't put the girls' basketball game on there, and that was a game. I had to listen to it. Rob J. I had to listen to it over the radio. Now that was a game.
Now, who won? Did Jackson win?
Yeah, we won.
Jackson State won.
Yeah, I know. But that's rivalry. One thing about rivalry, sometimes you can't call them.
Oh yeah.
True.
But yeah, it was a good game. They like I said, FAMU, as far as women goes, they need better shooting because point guard is killing everybody, blowing by everybody, shooting the three, and nobody else couldn't get. I think nobody else could get a bucket. They couldn't get a bucket out there. So I'm like, got to do something. You got to do something. The rest of the.
Want to talk about this Southern fight that they had? This altercation at this last game versus Alcorn.
That was a fight. The girls' game or the boys' game?
I put the video in the chat.
Oh, this is.
Put it up on. Put it on. Let me see it. Put it on the screen. Can you put it on the screen?
Yeah. Oh, I seen this. Who's Saturday? So
He dunked on him.
You dunked on him. The game was already out of hand for Southern.
Right.
I mean, it was already out of hand. You already up. You was up big anyway. So there was no reason. There's no reason that you go out there and you know what I'm saying, you dunk the ball. I mean, which is it's understandable. You know, it's still a game.
Is this the end of the game?
It's the end of the game. But you already have but the thing is, you got a 10, 12 point lead. So there was no reason for you to stick it to Alcorn like that. Because you're already up. You're already up by 10.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm surprised that Sean that he did that because Sean is a disciplinarian now. Sean don't play that. The guy that's the coach at Southern, I watched his career for a long time. He usually don't play that kind of stuff. Now, one thing he don't have is no players out of control. I think that was, just one of them things that happened because Sean usually don't have that.
And my thing is like this. Like I said, you already up by 10. Just hold on to the ball and
Lord, please don't let these Southern Jaguars try to clown Jackson State today.
Well, we still down by 10.
This is going to be a good game. I mean, this is just the beginning. Jackson starts out slow. I've watched Jackson several games. They start out slow, but they get the engines going now. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a long game now. Don't think they're going to just run.
It's 4-16 right now.
16. It's 16. 16.
It's a long game. It's a long game. I'm telling you, Jackson's most times they start out very slow.
I think Mo said that he don't like his team start out slow because he wants them to go.
Right.
But to me, you have to be you have to be mindful about the personnel that you have out there on the floor.
You just took the words out of my mouth, and I'm gonna continue to say one of the things Mo's got to do. Mo got to go get him 2 to 3 point guards from the Power Fives. That's why he's starting out slow. I don't like his guard play.
Spencer, he's committed as a wide receiver to Jackson State, but if you look at his basketball skills.
Now you see, is he a guard or what is he? A forward?
He could play the 2 and he could play the wing.
Okay. So he's a high flyer. Is he a high leaper type? With the long vertical.
I don't know about the long vertical, but I've seen him get up. So I've seen him get up, but I think he's more of a defined player,
right?
And he operates inside. He can get to the basket. He gets you about 4 or 5 rebounds a game.
Right.
I mean, it is high school too, and the crazy thing is we're gonna get into this that you got that TC is going all the way up to Madison, Mississippi, Madison Central, to get these kids to come play for the school.
Oh yeah, he's working. I saw a kid from Florida that he's gotten. That guy can play. I watched the films on him.
Oh yeah,
he's offensive and defensive lineman. I saw. TC's working. Not only FAMU's working too now.
Oh yeah,
they working. Both of them. I mean, the key day is Wednesday. 8 o'clock. What is it? 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Right?
I think so.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big day. Yeah, you can look for in the FCS, FAM, and Jackson will probably be top 10, maybe top 5.
Oh yeah. Especially, let me see what we do in the FCS because we still getting up there with Campbell and
Coach you were number 2. Last one I checked, you were number 2. I think FAM was 5 and Texas Southern was 10. That's after the first one, after the one in.
Let's go over December. Those. Because some of those changed a little bit. If you pull up the
Gotcha.
There we go. So a lot of people wanted to correct who's on the D line and who's a linebacker because some players like Niles Gaddy. On the website, they say linebacker, but apparently he's going to be on the D line.
He's hybrid. He can do both.
Yeah.
He's
So
hybrid.
I just put both on here to update it. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, that's
we
why he's
got
Can you hear that?
yeah, that's why he's
Juriante
going to be.
Davis.
That's why that guy's going to be drafted high, because he's a hybrid. He
Right.
has that Michael Parson type stuff in him. He can go on the ground, and then you can stand him up.
Ooh, thank you, God. You just read my mind about Michael Parsons. Thank you, God, that the Cowboys have gotten rid of Kellen Moore. Ooh,
Well, he just got picked up by the Chargers, I think.
Well, let him go mess up the offense for the Chargers.
Yeah,
I still want to ask you, Tamona, can you hear this applause?
Not yet.
Huh?
I can't hear it yet.
Oh my God, what is wrong with my thing?
But so this is who I have on linebacker. Of course, we already did the defensive line last time.
Right.
So we got Juriante Davis, Khalil
He'll be
Harrington,
All-American next year. He'll be
Donald-
All-American.
You said Juriante?
Yes, that boy is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We still got Donald Turley in the cut.
Yeah, I remember him.
Julius Reynolds.
Yeah,
and our recent commits that we have is, of course, the 4-star Philip Webb.
Oh,
the
yeah.
LSU transfer.
Yes.
And I've actually seen him on campus, so I think he's actually enrolled at Jackson State.
Yeah, he's there. Now,
Okay.
you know, he's already told his story. There are many members of his family are Jackson State graduates.
Right.
Yeah. So he didn't just come to Jackson State now because he just saw it on the map. It's family connections with him, too.
We got Mr. Campbell in the house and Dr. Lori Wilson, FAMU
I
grad.
heard from Dr. Lori Wilson, the greatest doctor in America. And I think Dr. Wilson's in Montgomery, or is it Montgomery?
I think ain't you in Montgomery or you in Birmingham?
I know she's a diehard Rattler. She's a diehard Rattler.
She is in the chat in the building, and
that's right.
Mr. Campbell is in here too.
Yeah.
So we got faces and faces coming.
They're gonna take all the information and take it back.
Well, you know, Mr. Campbell, he a diehard Rattler.
Yeah, listen, Mr. Campbell, they got y'all number 5, I think, in the recruiting so far, isn't it? Because y'all doing some stuff too now. Y'all bringing a lot of boys to Tallahassee. I've been keeping up.
Oh yeah, Dr. Lori's in Montgomery.
She's in Montgomery. That's right. She's in Montgomery. That's right. She's a Rattler with the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Stanley Cooks, you know, he's a 3-star, and he just committed today.
Yeah, he's from Florida, isn't he? Isn't he from Florida?
Yeah, he's from Florida, Hawthorne High School.
That's right.
He just had his his official visit.
Right.
Just this past weekend, and he went.
Yeah, most of them had their official visit this weekend.
Now, you know, the truth be told now, you know, Florida's been real good to Jackson State these last 3 years now. Florida been real good to y'all. Y'all been getting some stars out of Florida, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Florida's been real good to y'all.
I still think TC's main focus is to get back to recruiting Mississippi.
Oh, yeah.
That's something that...
we definitely going to go over that, because when I tell you he has been all the cornbread fed, homegrown talent. So yeah. But now listen, it's 2 states, well, actually 3. You can never turn your back on Florida. You can never turn your back on Texas. And you can never turn your back on California. I don't care where you are. You got to look at those states. And when you go up north, you got to always look at Ohio. You got to always look at Pennsylvania. Like I said, because when we talk about population now, I think Mississippi has 3 million or 2 million people? What is Mississippi? 3 million. See, if you put right here in the Atlanta area, if you put DeKalb County, you put Gwinnett County, Fulton County, and maybe Cobb County, that's about 4 million people. And these just some counties surrounding Atlanta. So, you know, like I said, you can never turn your back on Texas. You can never turn your back on California. Definitely can't turn your back on Florida and Georgia.
Lando said Louisiana also. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Louisiana's
turn
got
up.
some
Yeah,
super athletes.
Louisiana.
Yeah, yeah,
Basically, all the places where HBCUs are, that's where the PWIs went to steal the talent, and now we're
yeah,
seeing a
without a doubt.
resurgence of them returning. So
Yeah,
it's
without a
always
doubt.
good to see it. So I wanted to introduce Coach Taquan Hammock.
Mm-hmm.
Hammock. He is officially the linebackers coach at
Okay.
Jackson State University.
Okay.
Um, and I confirmed that before I put it up. But a little bit about his history. He used to play at Michigan State.
Who was his head coach? Was it D'Antonio? Who was his head coach while he was at Michigan State?
Taquan Hammock. Let me see. I'm gonna look that up.
I'm gonna
Because
have to
if he
fact.
was on the D'Antonio, y'all got a great one. Because D'Antonio was a defensive mind. You know that guy was good, man.
But his brother was is currently the coach at Northern Illinois University. His brother Thomas is the head
Well,
coach.
you know, everybody in Atlanta knows Northern Illinois. They came down here and stumped Georgia Tech about 2 years ago. So, you know, we know about Northern Illinois now, and they just ran it down their throats. So you know, we know Northern Illinois.
Let me see. So Taquan, he was at Northern Illinois also. So
Who was his head coach while he was at Michigan State? Was it D'Antonio?
2013 graduate of Michigan State. Yes, it
Yeah, that
was.
was D'Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he know. Let me tell you something. Everything he's going to do is going to be NFL based because the Michigan State program, everything was based on NFL principles. Yeah, there you go, Ronald Hunt. But there you go. Mark D'Antonio was truly a defensive man. That's right. Listen, this guy is well trained. This Hammett guy, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, everything he's going to do with them linebackers is NFL based because that's how D'Antonio ran his program at Michigan State.
Yeah, D'Antonio came up under no, he came in after
Was it Nick?
Nick Saban was already Nick Saban came. He left um Michigan State to go to LSU in 2000 and one or two. So he was at LSU for a little bit, and then he left to go to the NFL. So he went to the NFL. I think he left in 2005.
Uh-huh.
Was in the NFL for the 2 years, and then he went to Alabama.
No, you're right, Campbell. That guy was named Bobby something. You're right. That guy, you're right. Bobby always followed Saban wherever Saban would go, and I remember he did give that job to Bobby. I can't think of Bobby's name. I think he's he's with Nick now down at Alabama. I can't think of Bobby's last name. But you're right. He did leave that program, and D'Antonio came in, I think, after Bobby. Bobby Williams. There you go. Yeah, Bobby always goes everywhere with Nick. Because when Nick
Okay.
left, he left that program to Bobby. Bobby had a lot of problems. That was criminality, it was all kind of drug abuse, it was all kind of stuff under Bobby. They had serious problems up there. But I'm
Whoa.
just telling you, this guy comes from under D'Antonio. Man, y'all got to steal. I'm
Yeah,
telling
and
you, y'all got to steal.
he coached at Edinburgh
Yeah,
University, Lafayette College. He was an assistant cornerback coach at Northern Illinois University. He coached
yeah,
at Kentucky Christian University, and as I said, he was a graduate assistant tenure on his brother's Huskies staff.
right.
So
Now, see, this boy probably was trained by Narduzzi. Pat Narduzzi's up at with the Pitt
He,
Panthers. All
yeah.
of them was on D'Antonio's staff. Pat Narduzzi was a defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah,
So now
Pat
we'll be
Narduzzi.
able to see because he's been offering. So I have some updates on some of the offers. So Cameron Mackey, as of today, he just committed to Southern Miss. Like
Man,
Okay,
maybe a couple of hours ago, he committed to Southern Miss.
okay.
that would have
And
been a
then
nice. Pickup right there too.
and Kenneth Giles, it was a highly touted recruit for early signing day.
Mm-hmm.
So his update, because he was offered and he said that he was committed, instead of being a December graduate, he's graduating in the spring.
Okay. So
So
basically, that's the reason why he signed he's
So he's
signing.
not. He didn't actually sign. He didn't
Okay,
sign.
so that's the reason why he's signing Wednesday, since he's
I
going to
don't know.
graduate.
I don't know if he's signing. I don't
You don't
know
know.
because on his Twitter he doesn't even have Jackson State up there anymore.
Let me see.
So I just looked at that like maybe a couple hours ago, and I didn't see Jackson State on there. So another offer that we have out is Taylor Lewis, defensive tackle. He's the Arizona Razorbacks transfer.
The
Wait a minute,
Arkansas.
wait a minute. Taylor Lewis, is he from Georgia?
Oh, never.
No,
Arkansas.
he's from
Arkansas
Taylor
Razor-
Lewis from Chicago. He's actually from Chicago.
Chicago. Okay.
Yeah, I think. See, somebody said that he just took a visit to San Diego State. Oh, and I got Arkansas instead of. Excuse me, y'all, Arkansas. No, but yeah, I don't think Kenneth Giles. I don't think he's still committed to Jackson State, just because it kind of changed on his page. Because at first it said he committed, and then he had Jackson State in there. And then when I checked today, that's when I found out that it says instead of being a December graduate, he's now graduating in the spring. So sometimes, like when JUCOs, or you'll see sometimes that we wait until they graduate, I think, and then they re-offer them, like they did that offensive lineman Ikani, because he was supposed to have graduated and then he didn't graduate.
Yeah. Now, most of those kids right now, what the Power Fives is doing is putting together that NIL deal for them. And they can be committed to you, but once that NIL is given to them, you can forget it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of these PWIs not coming through with these. They canceling them like Christmas. They'll say we got you, and then when it comes time to pay up the money, they're like not doing it.
Well, the thing is, it's not even supposed to be the school that pays the money. It's
Right.
supposed to be
whoever it is that was supposed to come through, they're not coming through. That's why you saw that.
Yeah, they didn't come through for the kid at Florida, right? Remember, he wanted $13 million, I think.
No, they offered to pay $13 million. Why are you offering to pay somebody $13?
What?
Yeah, the kid from California.
I mean, I'm not gonna say they're not worth it, but what I'm saying is $13 million, and you ain't even played it down.
And Doc, they saying he might show up in Fort Worth. He might go to TCU.
Well, you go to TCU, it's on then.
Wait, yeah. TCU got beat up, and anyway. Next, we have Anthony Johnson. He's 6'6", 250 pounds, a defensive end. He was offered maybe a couple days ago. I want to say he was offered a couple days ago. Then
his picture looks good. He looks good.
Deshaun Richardson, I thought he committed as well. And when I looked at his page, I didn't see Jackson State on there. So and then we have Junior Helmuli. He's a new offer. I think he's been offered in the last 2 days, and he's a middle linebacker.
I'm gonna say it like this: for the defensive lineman that's been offered, but they feeling kind of iffy about where they want to go, just take a look at who you getting coached by. Getting coached by Jeff Weeks. Like I said, Jeff Weeks turned James Houston from your average typical inside linebacker to a damn good edge rusher.
Yeah, he did. They lit a fire under him at Jackson State.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be toting that on every conversation that I have is we got Jeff Weeks on here. You can see the progression of James Houston. Everybody watched Coach Prime documentary. You see him fighting with his coaches because he doesn't feel like they're respecting his playing ability at linebacker. And they're telling him, listen, you were going to be second, possibly third string if you try to play linebacker. We know what we're talking about. I mean, that
was a great move. That's right.
That was money.
It was a great move. I mean, they put money in his pocket.
So, yeah.
Because I saw him at Florida at middle linebacker. He was not the beast he was as a edge rusher, That's his natural position. He's an edge rusher.
One day we need to break down those little skip to my Lou moves that he does and the little like this his acceleration. It's nice.
Well,
Yeah,
the thing about him is that he has a motor. He doesn't stop. He's the same speed from the fourth quarter till the end of the game.
right.
That's the thing about him. He has a motor.
Yeah, and then too, you don't have to really get him jump started because once he's out there on the field and he could jump start himself.
Listen, remember the game against Alabama A&M? He started that onslaught to me when they beat them to death at that homecoming game. James Houston started that.
Yeah, and then it don't hurt to have a running mate on the other side with Antoine Owens, who was arguably the most versatile defensive lineman that we had. Also on the field.
He was good. He was good.
He could play inside and out.
He was. Now, did he go? Is he in the NFL or he's in the XF? What is he in?
He's at the USFL.
USFL. Yeah, okay.
And he was playing on the Philadelphia team. I don't know if he still is.
Well, he should be in the NFL this year. Then hopefully. Yeah, because he was really good. I liked him too. I saw him at Georgia Tech. He was at Tech.
He was good at Georgia Tech.
He was. He was good.
Yeah, until he tore his knee up, and then he kind of got down a little bit on himself, and he felt like he needed to prove himself again. So, but he is a smart kid. So he got his bachelor's at Georgia Tech and got his master's at Jackson State. So
that's right. I think he's from Macon, Georgia. Is he from Florida? Is he Tallahassee?
He's from Tallahassee.
He's from Tallahassee. That's right. He's from Tallahassee. Now that's one thing that is. I thought that when Willie Simmons came to Tallahassee, he was going to put a fence around that Big Bend area because there's some really good athletes in that Big Bend and that Tallahassee Leon area.
Right.
And he's let some good boys get out of there. I thought that was the first thing he was going to do was fence off that Tallahassee Metro. Because you're talking about 300,000 people in that Tallahassee Metro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, hey, Aaron Sanders said that Juice Jenkins just signed with Prairie View.
Okay, which one is Juice?
That's Brian Jenkins' son, the receiver that went to Alabama.
Oh, okay. Well, they need some wide receivers. They need some wide receivers.
Damn.
What?
He just said, "Nope, I'm going to Prairie View."
It was like you think about this, y'all. Alabama A&M
would have been better
in spring from the spring season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had pretty much the best wide receiver room in the conference at the time, right? So then the fall season, they were out there balling because of the simple fact that you had to kill Glass. Then you lose OJ Hilaire.
Yeah.
He went to Bowling Green.
Right.
D. Anderson, he graduated because he came in from LSU. He was only there for 1 year. And then you had Juice Jenkins. You had what's the other kid's name? But you pretty much lost your whole almost your whole start receiving core from the year that you won the spring season, the SWAC spring season.
Yeah, he did. Okay, when Dion was going out getting all those players that summer, I think he brought in 35 players. What they did, Coach Maynard knows, they stood pat. And it was the wrong time to stand pat. They didn't add to that program. Because, see, the SWAC now is an arms race. Everybody is going out getting some of the best athletes. And like I keep telling y'all, I'm going to say this again. Talent ain't the problem in the SWAC. It's coaching.
Right.
We got kids who can play in the NFL coming into the SWAC. But the thing is, we don't have offensive coordinators. We don't have position coaches who are championship, who are quality, and who can develop players. That's the problem in the SWAC. It's not the players. The players are there. If you don't have pro potential as a SWAC team, it's your fault. There are so many kids want to come to the SWAC right now. That's why I keep saying this is a renaissance period. This is a golden era.
You kept saying it.
Yeah, it's a golden era. It's so many talented kids want to come to the SWAC. Like, and Miss Wilson, I know you're not an Alabama State graduate, but I'm trying to figure out why they so quiet over there at Alabama State. I ain't heard nothing about them.
And Daniel,
I ain't heard nothing.
all those nice facilities.
Yeah. And to me, they're offensive coordinator away from being able to win the SWAC. Because that guy they got over there for offense coordinator, he wouldn't be good if you put him in the junior league, the 10-year-olds.
That's the other guy I was thinking, Ibrahim. Abdul Fattah Ibrahim.
Oh, that boy's good. He transferred too, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to Bowling Green. So you lost your whole wide receiver core from that spring SWAC championship team that you had.
But let me say this, Doc. Let me say this. Even though all them guys are gone, Alabama A&M can replace every one of them where you won't miss none of them. All they got to do is do what? Go to Florida. All they got to do, go to Florida or come over here to this Atlanta area, and y'all will forget Ibrahim and all of them. Because I'm telling you, there are so many kids that want to play in the SWAC.
But didn't he get like 13 or 14 DBs out the transfer portal last season?
Yeah. And a lot of
he got like almost 40 kids out the transfer portal.
Any of it translate to much of anything?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of them kids he brought over from that transfer portal, he needed to get rid of them.
Just because they're in the transfer portal and they got a couple of stars.
No, you got to vet them. You got to vet. You got to do. See, the main thing with kids today is it's not the athletic ability, it's the character. If they don't have the right character, but they can run a front 4.340, get rid of them because they're going to hurt you at the wrong time. The number one thing with these athletes today is character. See, they got kids right now. The kid will score 40 points in a basketball game. Then after the basketball game, he goes and steals out of Walmart and probably steal with the team's logo on. See, it's character. If you have not studied those kids' character, you're doing yourself a disfavor. You're making a big problem for yourself. Got to check the character.
One thing I want to continue through, which I have confidence that Coach T.C. Taylor will still uphold those principles of being disciplined and having character and having good grades and making sure you go into study hall. And some of the players were on their YouTube recently saying that Coach made them roll from one end of the field to the other 10 times.
Yeah, that's old school. That's old school, baby.
You done rode the whole 1,000 yards.
Yeah, that's old. That's back at this. See, I remember them days at Grambling and Tennessee State, Florida A&M. You make a mistake, you had to roll. That's old school right there.
Like I would do the same thing too. Hey, you do something stupid while you in though. It's just like the gear for the school. That's you about to get in trouble. That's a bad look for a school right there.
Right.
That is a bad look. Oh my God, I don't know what's up with this game right here.
I mean, a perfect example is this.
You need to pull up the video that I just put up there because they are kicking our ass in basketball. So we're gonna have to get them. We gonna have to get it back in blood in football.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Sean Woods is an outstanding coach. He's good.
That's a Rick Pitino disciple right there.
That's right. He's a Rick Pitino. He was in the game with which the folks on that side say was one of the greatest tournament games ever when Christian Laettner hit the shot. He was playing for Kentucky in that game.
He should have at least had the girls' game up there to even it out. Good Lord.
Like you gotta, man. He gets on his kids too.
Who's that, Sean?
Sean Wood, yeah.
Oh, I'm telling you now. Let me tell you something. One of the things that Dr. McClellan needs to do is he needs to make sure that tournament is top notch in Birmingham this year. We don't need no championship game and 300 people sitting in the stand.
Oh,
we need to have at least 10 to 12,000 people in the stand because you're gonna have a great Final Four when it comes down to Texas Southern, Prairie View, Southern, Jackson. Those are some good teams.
Right.
Alcorn. Them some good teams, man. So Dr. McClellan needs to do his job now. We need an outstanding SWAC tournament in, I think that's March of 2023. We don't need no 300 people in the stands.
Yeah. So you got what we got right here, Tamont? We got Madison Central, the recruiting from Madison Central. You know who will be real happy about this, and he's still happy about this, is Ken Clark, because that's his alma mater right there.
Yeah, Madison Central, they're 6A, right? In football. I think they're 6A.
For Mississippi, I think so, yeah, because I think they're the highest classification in Mississippi.
So they have a lot of players that definitely go Power 5. And as you know, a lot of these players were offered by Power 5 schools. We just got Braxton Barney yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, Isaiah Spencer, he committed back for early signing day. And then we have BJ Washington that just committed recently. So that's 3. Now, someone said that there was a 4th one, but Jimmy Holiday, he decided to go to WKU, whatever that stands for.
That's Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
Well, that's where
That's going. Willie Taggart School. That's where what's that guy up in Michigan's name? What's the head coach at Michigan?
Harbaugh.
That's his daddy. His daddy was once the coach there.
Yeah.
You know what? This recruiting here kind of reminds you of W.C. Gordon. Remember how W.C. Gordon used to own the state of Mississippi?
I heard the stories.
Just talking about Mr. Ford. We was talking about W.C. Gordon, and then he was talking about Big Daddy on the last show.
Yeah, Big Daddy. I remember Big Daddy. W.C. Gordon had an all-star coaching staff. Remember he had Big Daddy, he had Houston Markham, he had Coach Pete. Was Kelly on that staff?
I don't know if Kelly was on the staff, but I remember Bob Hill was Coach Hill was on the staff.
The guy that was McNair's head coach, what was his name? Remember at Alcorn, what was McNair's head coach's name? He was on that staff. Cardale Thomas? Cardale Jones?
Cardale Jones, yeah.
Yeah, he was on that staff too. Yeah, that's one thing about Coach WC. He had a staff out this world. He had some big-time people on that. Like I said, Markham went to Alabama State. Right. Cardale Jones eventually took over Alcorn. Yep. What about Sylvester Collins? Wasn't Sylvester Collins on there?
Let me check and see. Like I said, the person who could tell me all about
Mr. Campbell knows. He was right there.
Mr. Campbell.
Wasn't Cardale? His name was Sylvester Collins, because he had been a quarterback at Jackson State back in the day. I think he was on that staff. They had an all-star staff. When I got to Grambling, I remember that staff. Robert Hughes was on that staff, because Robert had played in the NFL.
Yeah, Coach Hughes in the NFL.
Yeah, he was on that. They had an all-star staff now.
In fact, he was I think Coach Hughes was the defensive line coach. And then when Big Daddy became the head coach, I think he stayed as the defensive coordinator.
Yeah. They called a huge judge, I believe, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
I didn't know Big Daddy was from Clarksdale,
wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Yeah, he was on that team. Remember, in 61, 62, they played in the Orange Blossom Classic. He was a nose guard, a defensive tackle or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Carl Roberts played with Doug Williams in the, was it the USFL? I remember Carl Roberts. I remember him.
Well, yeah, we was talking about that because I had right after you got off. Well, I had a Lawrence Story.
Yeah, come on the show. Lawrence was about 6'6", right?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember Lawrence.
That was my freshman classmate right there.
Him
and TC. So yeah, Lawrence is 6'6", straight up receiver. He had the greatest speed, but he will mouse you. He was that, he was tall, so jump ball was easy for him.
Yeah, listen, Daniel Lewis was in school. Was it Daniel Lewis?
For what year?
I'm thinking, was he in the class with you or he's after you?
Daniel Lewis.
He wore this kid wore number 3. I'm think I'm getting his name wrong.
Daniel Guy.
Daniel Guy.
I think he was either year before me.
Okay, he was before you.
Yeah,
he was a good kid. He was a good boy. I remember him.
Oh yeah.
He boy.
He also talked. Lawrence did also talked about Coach Shannon.
Oh yeah, Shannon was. I remember Florida A&M is the reason Big Daddy went and got Shannon. Florida A&M came down there in '98 with a kid from Temple. They called him the Mad Bomber. His name was Pat Bonner. He blew Jackson out in the vet. And
I was at that game.
Yeah, and what's the name? Told everybody he wanted to add that. What it was, if it's a spread offense with the 4 wide receivers, that's why he brought in Shannon. That was because of Florida A&M had blew them out down there in the vet. A big crowd. It was on BET and everything. And they had that boy named Pat Bonner. He had transferred to FAMU from Temple.
I was at that game.
And he came in there and blew him out.
I got a special treat for Mr. Campbell. Can you pull that picture up that I just
right here?
Yeah.
Ooh,
this is the 1962 Orange Blossom Classic win.
Yeah, that's right.
60 years ago, Tigers win over FAMU and elevated their program.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you what happened. Right after this game, the whole staff from Jackson State left and went to Tennessee State. The president.
Oh, that was Big John Merritt.
That was Big John Merritt. Okay, the president at Tennessee State, his name was Dr. Davis. He envisioned Tennessee State having one of the best programs in the nation, not only in football, but basketball, track and field. He went to Big John Merritt and said, listen, we'll give you anything you want. We want you to come to Nashville. He had been at Jackson, I think, 10 years because listen, you know the boy that's the quarterback for the Denver Broncos. What's his name?
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson's granddaddy was the basketball coach at Jackson State. His name was Harrison Wilson. He eventually becomes the president of Norfolk State. He made it so that Harrison Wilson and Big John Merritt were first cousins. They're all graduates of Kentucky State University. They played under an old man named Henry Arthur King. You can look it up. That's a connection. After this game, they all left and went to Nashville.
And that's when
that's a little black history for you.
That when Big John Merritt turned Big Blue into it wasn't even Tennessee State. It was Tennessee A&I.
A&I.
Turned them into a dang on national power too.
That's right. Now, don't forget now, they are one of the schools that the government has cheated out of $1.9 billion in the last 30 years. Tennessee State's in that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they in that.
So yeah, you talking about this is nostalgia right here.
Oh yeah. Listen, Willie Richardson was on that team. Willie Richardson left there, I think, and went to the Baltimore Colts. Yeah, I'm thinking Bob Hayes might have been on FAMU's team. Bob Hayes, Ron Paramore, they called him China Dog. He went to the St. Louis Cardinals. Maybe Walter Highsmith was on that FAMU team. Because see, Jackson State went to the Orange Blossom Classic 2 years in a row.
Yeah. Man, this is like y'all. This is all history because we got Black History Month starting on Wednesday. So we gonna take this in right here. And
listen, Florida A&M's offensive backfield was the fastest backfield in the country. The slowest back they had ran a 9.5 100-yard dash. Bob Hayes was called at that time the world's fastest human. But the slowest guy, I think, was a guy named Robert Montgomery. He ran a 9.5 100-yard dash, and he was the slowest person in that backfield. See, I keep telling people that when you talk about Florida A&M history, in 80 years, they only had 12 losing seasons.
That's crazy.
Okay, you put together all the black boys at the University of Miami, all the black boys at the University of Florida, all the black boys at Florida State. That was FAMU in the 50s and the 60s. That was them. See, what they don't tell y'all about is that He would dress 88. Jake Gaither would dress 88.
Uh-huh.
He had something called the pit. When you got there as a freshman, you had to go into the pit and play your way out of the pit. That's why a lot of kids would come to Florida A&M and leave. They couldn't make it. They couldn't come out the pit.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. But yeah, you talking about Big John left to go to Tennessee to
Tennessee State.
Nashville.
And wasn't it Rod Page that took his place? Who took his place? Was it Rod Page?
I think it was Rod Page. Then
yeah, I think it was Rod Page too.
Then Robert Hill. Then
Hill was a monster. Hill was Walter Payton's them coach.
Right.
Hill had played for the Baltimore Colts. He was a running back for the Baltimore Colts. He was a monster. He also left Jackson, I think, and went to the New Orleans Saints.
Yep. Then after Robert Hill, it was
W.C. Gordon.
W.C. Gordon.
Oh,
and W.C. Gordon went from 70, I think it was 77 the year after Walter Payton left, and took it all the way up until
90 91 or 90
92.
Because Big Daddy took over after he left.
Right.
See all these guys right here. Ben McGee played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Willie Richardson, the Baltimore Colts. All them guys right there. See that? See that's what's the guy? It was two guys on that staff that were legendary under Big John Merritt. One was named Joe Gilliam Sr. That's his son that played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The other guy was from Alcorn. He was a chemistry teacher. He was one of the best offensive minds in the country. They called him Alvin. What was Alvin? Was it Alvin? What was his name? He was from Alcorn. He was a chemistry teacher, but he was one of the best offensive minds in the country. He was the offensive coordinator for Jackson, and he left with Big John and went to Tennessee State. Cat Coleman, that's what they called him. Alvin Cat Coleman. Look him up. He's from Alcorn. He was a chemistry teacher.
Man, that's crazy.
He was a chemistry teacher.
And he ran the offense like that.
He was one of the best. The people from the NFL would come and quiz him. That's the kind of mind. He was a mastermind.
Yeah. And then with
Alvin Coleman, he's he played professional football for the Minnesota Vikings in 1967.
No, that's not him. No. This guy went to Alcorn. He was a chemistry teacher at Jackson State and at Tennessee State. His name was Alvin. His nickname was Cat. Alvin Cat Coleman. Because they were the top of see when Big John went to Tennessee State, he took with him Cat Coleman, Joe Gilliam Sr., and I think he took a guy named Shannon Little with him.
This is a different.
I know it's some Tennessee State folks on here. I know y'all know what I'm talking about.
This is the Al Coleman that graduated, that went to Jackson State and Tennessee State.
Put in Alvin. Listen, put in Alvin Cat Coleman and put in Tennessee State. Read what it say about him.
Because he was in the Army too, wasn't he?
He might have been.
He was in the military. Alvin Cat Coleman.
Did he say he was at Tennessee State or Jackson?
He's Tennessee State.
Yeah. He's an Alcorn graduate, but he was a chemistry teacher.
Can you see that?
Yep. Said began his career as a teacher and coach in Mississippi, where he was tremendously successful in both endeavors.
I put it on the on the screen so you could pull it up. So
yeah, he was
something else, man. Yeah, he turned out people like there was a boy, your homeboy came out of he was out of Houston, Texas. Some people say he's the greatest black college quarterback in the last 60 years. His name was Eldridge Dickey. That's him. Y'all got it. There you go, baby. That man right there was a mastermind. Alvin Cat Coleman, baby. He was an Alcorn graduate. You see when he was born? He was born in 1913. He went to Alcorn. He would this was Big John Merritt's right-hand man for offense, and Joe Gilliam Sr. was his right-hand man for defense. They used to call Joe Gilliam Sr. lunatic or tick. That's what the boys called him, tick. Yeah, he was a brilliant man. They were smart people. They weren't just football coaches. These dudes were brilliant, man. They were intellectuals. They were smart, man.
And some people don't even talk about though. And
Yeah.
that's crazy. Is people don't talk about that. They, we talk all about football, basketball, and all this stuff like that, but we don't really get to down to the nitty gritty like people like Alvin Coleman, Cat
Okay,
Coleman. So
that's him. He had a son. Now his son might have went pro. His son played at Tennessee State. His son eventually comes back and take the baseball team. Then coached on the football staff too. But he was Alvin Coleman Jr. That was his son.
Hey, so that's who I was talking about that got drafted for the Vikings.
Yeah, that's his son. That's his son. That's Cat Coleman's son.
yeah, S class when swag was the swag.
Yeah, when swag was swag, baby.
You had
That's why.
only
Listen, that's why when I hear them Johnny Come Latelys on here that didn't know what the swag was 2 years ago, I don't want to hear nothing they got to say because they don't know what they're talking about. One you was talking about the other night, But see, when them people talk, I don't have to hear nothing they say because they don't know what they're talking about.
Like to me, to see what the SWAC is now, you got to go back into history and see how it was back then.
I keep telling people we're back to the 70s. We're back to the 70s. We're not in the 60s now. Because see, the 60s was a period when every SWAC team had a first round draft choice, maybe 2 or 3. Because I remember as a kid, this was in the mid 70s, Jackson had 3 first round draft choices on one of them teams. They had 3 of them. One of them was Peyton. I think it was Big Jackie Slater.
Yep.
And it was somebody else. Was it Donald Reese?
Donald Reese,
it was 3 of them guys. They were 3 first round draft choices on Jackson State's team. That's why I keep telling these people, we're back to the 70s. The problem is we've got to get the coordinators, the position coaches, and their resumes must say championship quality developer of players. We got to get that's the man right there, baby. That's the man right there. Let me tell you something. First time I saw him in a Jet magazine. He had an afro bigger than that, and he used to wear. He always wore those glasses. He wore like a shade like glasses, but he would have on. They would have the thing on his ears where he'd be talking to the people in the press box, and they would be talking about him. I'll never forget him. W.C. Gordon. He was a leader of men.
Oh yeah, Robert Brazil was on that same team.
That's right. I knew it was 3. It was 3 of them. It was 3 of them. They were on Jackson State's team. This was in the 70s. It was 3 first round draft choices on Jackson State's team.
Yeah. Man, and then looking at W.C. Gordon like that.
And he was a Tennessee State graduate.
Yeah, Tennessee State. So it basically was a flip. It basically was an old switcheroo, a flip flop. I give you my best coach for your best coach. It turned out great. But that run W.C. Gordon had where he won 8 straight SWAC titles, if I'm not mistaken. I had to see. Let me see. If he won, I know he won more. I know he won
80 to 82, 85 to 88, and 90. 8 SWAC football titles.
8 SWAC football titles. So he basically, if you really think about it, other than we always gonna say say Grambling because Coach Eddie Robinson made Grambling that household, you know what I'm saying, made him a household name. But I think this the 4 was up. But W.C. Gordon also he was like really the guy in the era in the 80s. And then you let me get back. All right, so yeah, you got 8 SWAC titles in a whole decade.
Basically run the whole 80s. Like the 80s
Well,
was
that was an interruption in the 80s. It was Coach Chasm down at Alcorn and the gunslinger at Mississippi Valley.
Yeah.
They kind of edged him out in 84. He changed his whole program. And from about
85 to 88.
Yeah, about 85 to about 88, he went undefeated. Nobody could touch him after that. But in 84, all the attention was on Mississippi Valley originally. And then Alcorn beat them in Jackson on a Sunday.
I remember. I watched that game.
That's right. They beat them on a Sunday. That's the biggest crowd in the history of the Vet. But after that season, W.C. Gordon changed his program. He changed the program. I think it was people like Chris Burkett, was it Shannon Boyd?
Yeah.
He had a boy that went to the Tampa Bay. That boy was awesome, man. He played football and basketball. I want to say his name was Jackie Wallace. He was from Monroe, Louisiana? He went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Jackie Wallace.
Was it Jackie? Look up and see if it was Jackie Wallace. He was out of I want to say Monroe, Louisiana. He was about a 6'5", 6'6" linebacker. Jackie Walker, that's his name. Jackie Walker.
Okay.
Oh, he was the truth, man. He went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they drafted him high. He played football and basketball. He was something else, man.
Oh, yeah. 6'5", 250.
Yes, sir. And could run probably 4.5, 4.40. He could do it, man.
And drafted in the second round.
Yeah, that's him. They thought the world of him. He had some issues. He had some baggage and some issues.
Oh, yeah. So then you got make a run in the 90s, early 90s with those teams with a defense. Like you said, you really want to talk about the dark side defense, you have to go back to the late 80s, early 90s to talk about that defense.
That's right. One of them came into the Falcons. His name was, he played with Dion. It was two Jackson State players on the Falcons during the 80s. One was named Houston Hoover. He was an offensive lineman. He was good friends with Dion. That other boy was named Darren Connor.
Darian Connor? Yeah.
Darian Connor, that's him.
He used to play for the Saints, too.
And he played for the Falcons. He was drafted by the Falcons first or second round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Darian Connor was he was on that same team with Pat Swilling. They dubbed themselves the Dome Patrol. Yeah. So
that boy Darren Connor was the truth, man. He was a big linebacker. He too ran like a 4.5, 4.40. He was fast.
Mm-hmm. He was fast until Mr. Ford. He was fast until Big Larry Allen hocked him down in that game.
Oh yeah,
y'all remember that? If y'all remember that game when the Cowboys played the Saints in the Dome, and Darian Connor caught an interception, it would try to take it like 85, 90 yards, and Big Larry Allen, 6'3", 325, hopped him down.
Yeah, Larry was California, right? Where was he from?
Yep, California.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1987 in the chat, they said the 1987 team had between 12 to 14 players on it that were drafted by the NFL, counting freshmen to seniors on the team.
Oh yeah. Listen, BET had them on every week. We'd always watch BET would have them on. It'd have them on against Tennessee State. The big one was when they would play Southern. At the end of the year, they would play Alcorn. BET would have them on 3 or 4 times a year.
You got Lewis Tillman. So Lewis Tillman was
Havenhurst. Yeah, I remember Lewis Tillman. Went to the Giants. Sylvester Stamps came to the Falcons. I remember him.
And got the best burgers. I'm sorry to say that.
Yeah, man, that's true. That was the days, man.
I think his Liz is that his daughter, his granddaughter or something like that, daughter. But she's at the school too. She's over at the school. She does videos of the players working out. So she has her own YouTube channel. So she put it out there.
Listen, y'all had a president named James Hafner. He was the president during the 80s when I was a student at Grambling. What was his name? Hefner.
James Hefner.
Because he left Jackson and went to Tennessee State as president. He's president at Jackson. He left Jackson and went to Tennessee State. Now I think he's deceased, but you put his name in it. James Hefner. He was an economist. He had a PhD in economics. That's it. Ronald Hunt, James Hefner. That's right. That was him. That's right. He died. He's deceased. But he was at Jackson for many years. He left Jackson and went to Tennessee State.
Yep.
Yeah, but James Hefner. I remember he was the president when I was a student at Grambling. Now he was all for sports too. He was for sports.
Yeah.
He wanted Jackson to be good in everything.
Yeah, our best president at the time too was Dr. Peoples.
What was his years?
67 to 84.
Oh yeah.
I put him on the screen.
What, Hefner?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was an economist. I remember him. Yeah, so, yeah. That's him. Yeah, he was for sports too. Yeah.
Oh, that's out of North Carolina. He got his bachelor's degree in business administration from North Carolina A&T in 1961. He went on to get his master's degree in economics from Atlanta University, which is now Clark Atlanta University.
That's
interesting. He got his doctorate degree in economics from the University of Colorado at Boulder in 1971. Right.
Yeah, that's him. He was the president when I was a student at Grambling. I remember him.
He was our 7th president, and one of his major achievements at JSU was launching a 5-year, $10 million capital campaign for the university, which ultimately generated $11.2 million in revenue a year ahead of schedule. He also enhanced the university's scholarship program and worked with Ford Foundation to establish a community development. Oh, so he was bringing in that money.
Now, what year did he leave? What year did he leave Jackson and go to Tennessee State?
91.
Okay.
Somebody in the chat said they didn't like him at TSU.
They didn't? I thought he... Yeah, I remember him. That's happening.
Yeah. Then we got
Espo Crest, you can read, but if we replay it, they're not going to be able to see the chat.
But you got James, so he came after Dr. Peoples. So Dr. Peoples was the people's Dr. Peoples was the people president for Jackson State. So he was basically accessible.
But this guy wasn't Hefner kind of a
they said Dr. Hefner was accessible too.
And, he's kind of like that too.
Yeah, and then Dr. Lyons, from 92 to 99, that's who I came up under, Dr. Lyons. And then we had Dr. Fletcher. She was on an interim basis because we was at the time we was in the search for a new president, and that's when Mason came in. And I didn't know Mason stayed that long. When I went back in 2009, I did not know he stayed that long.
Yeah, he brought Covington, and Covington brought Bale, and that destroyed that football program. That killed the football program. Because that James Bale, that was awful.
Ronald Mason was on a mission. He wanted to merge all 3 universities and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Was that on the Haley? What's that guy's name? Haley Barber.
Haley Barber was governor. Yep. Yes.
So that was some of his mess. Yeah, that was some of his mess because Haley was slick. He was slick as he could be.
He would come to Jackson State campus.
Oh, Haley Barber went?
Yes. I wonder if I could find it.
I remember that.
He wanted to run for president. He wanted to run for president.
Yeah, and it didn't work out for him.
No, it didn't.
I mean, what was he gonna do? Re-invoke slavery? Like, no.
It would have been a more scientific form of slavery.
Yeah, I remember that Jay Blue. He said he wanted us to be the University of Jackson. I was like, oh, where did this man come from? I do not know. I remember.
Didn't he go to Southern? Didn't he leave y'all and go to Southern?
Yep. I'm gonna tell you, this is a funny thing though. Dr. Mason, I first got to Jackson, right? Well, not first, when he first got to Jackson, Um, I remember that it was a scuffle between two fraternities. It ended up, I don't know what happened, but all I know is one said fraternity did not return on the yard until like for a whole decade.
And that was under who?
That was under Mason.
Well, Doc, let me ask you this. While you were there, did you meet Merle Evers?
I didn't get a chance to meet her, but a lot of people told me that she was a real good person at the time.
Yeah, because she's still living, right? Isn't she still living?
No, she passed away, I think.
Wait a minute, Merle Evers passed away?
Let me see. I think
no, she's still living. Hey, Mr. Campbell, isn't Merle Evers still living? Because she had a job at Jackson State. She was doing something at Jackson. She's got to be close.
She's
about 88, 89. What is she now?
Yeah, 89. Yeah,
That's
she's still alive. I'm sorry, I thought she passed.
Yeah. Now, what about her children? Are her children in Jackson? Where are they?
Let me see.
Because she had a boy and a girl, right? What did they have? 2 kids?
3.
They had 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she was working at Jackson. She had a position at Jackson.
I don't know if her kid's still at Jackson or not, but I just see she got 3 kids.
She's a living treasure. She really is. She's a living treasure.
Yeah, Dr. Mason after he left Jackson, he went to Southern, ran Southern.
Right, he went to Southern. I remember that.
Now he's the president.
Wasn't there? They said that he was misusing money by like giving certain staff members $1 million packages, and there was somebody who was on tap like that was supposed to be. I think you're getting paid like $17,000 a month. I just recently did
Mason?
some.
Who's that? Mason?
Yeah, they didn't like it, and the reason why he was leaving Jackson is he wanted to build a $2 million president's house.
Oh yeah, oh Lord, another one of those, huh?
I don't know. I didn't even pay no attention to it. After he got there, I didn't pay no attention to him. So
all I remember about him is he brought Covington there, and Covington brought Bayer, and they killed that athletic program. They killed that football program until the arrival of Rick Comegys. They killed that program. And that's why I'm afraid. I told you the other night, we got to pay attention to this thing about President Hudson and that what they gave him a no confidence vote.
Yeah.
Because historically, Jackson State's football program has been destroyed by its presidents. Y'all know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was that man you called out right there, that Mason, helped destroy the program. And the lady that I love, and I thought the world of, but she brought in that lady, Myers. She brought in that woman, Vivian Fuller. And Vivian Fuller destroyed that athletic program.
Got a question for you, Mr. Ford. From Reggie. He's asked, what are your thoughts on Prop 48 and its impact on HBCUs in the 80s?
They were afraid that the black athlete was going to totally, well, it did happen, but at that time they were trying to limit the number of black athletes at these Power 5 schools. Because basically what had happened in the 80s, the black athlete basically just ran the white athletes out. Okay, especially in football and basketball. So what they told the white athletes was, go play Division II. Okay, and so this was a way of stopping that. All right, but eventually that didn't work. It was kind of like you remember the thing they used to do to stop us from voting? What they call that? You remember?
Poll tax.
Poll taxes.
Reading,
yeah.
They did reading too. Like
that's one was called the grandfather clause. They would do that kind of stuff to stop us. Well, that's what Prop 48 was all about. They was trying to stop the black athlete from taking over them Power 5 schools, and it didn't work. They still taking them over. That's what it was all about.
I was kind of confused about that vote of no confidence,
Yeah, I think
especially
we need to keep
for
an eye on it.
especially for one of the persons that I named. The reason why is because they were saying like this year alone, Jackson State has brought in close to like $100 million in like research,
Right.
grants, all that type of stuff that this year alone that they've bought in almost 100 million for the past year, and that's the highest that it's ever been. But that same person is tapped as also having a vote of no confidence, so it's really interesting.
I'm gonna keep
So
up with
where does
that.
that go from here? I mean,
I'm trying to actually pull it up, the article that talks a little bit about it. I think I found it, this one right here. um it's interesting because, let me see, there it is.
We
Can
chipping
y'all
at the
see
lead
that?
right now. Yeah, let me pull
Okay.
full.
No,
We
it's
chipping
up.
at the lead right now. For I'm looking at still looking at the game too. So
So it
hey,
says that
didn't they do this to the big time president of Florida A&M? Didn't they do this to him? Uh, what was Doc's name? The guy that was at Tennessee State and then he came to FAMU. He had the golden era at Florida A&M. What was his name?
was
Humphreys.
it Hubbard Humphreys?
Frederick Humphrey. Didn't they give him a vote of no confidence? Didn't they do that to him?
I don't know, but I just, for
But
Yeah,
didn't
me,
they?
Mr.
I
Kevin
kind
said
of,
it was Humphreys.
Yeah, but didn't they at the end? Didn't they give Humphreys a vote of no confidence? Wasn't it about 2000? When did they? Didn't they? Because they kind of like cleared house down at FAM. Um, I'm just one. I thought they gave him a vote of no confidence.
so this
Uh,
article is from December 13th. This is before the vote of no confidence, but basically it says that Jackson State had a 90.96% increase in sponsored research funding. So this is not even, this does not include the HERV funding. It
hmm,
says the JSU Division of Research and Economic Development reports that the record 65 million in awards does not include funding from the Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund, and it says the total research revenue was over $101 million.
wow.
But the person who is vice president of research and economic development, Joseph Whitaker, Dr. Joseph Whitaker, he is a part of that vote of no confidence. If you look in the vote of no confidence, it names like certain people who received that vote, and he was one of them. So I don't know.
Uh,
But I did hear from one of the staff, and they indicated that the vote of no confidence is done by department heads, so that doesn't necessarily speak for all of the faculty and staff on campus.
that's the
So
reason why I
Doc, you
see it
said,
right here. You
yeah,
see
you
it
said
right there.
the ISL going to determine that, right?
Yeah. He said also, Mr. Campbell just said, I bet the vote of no confidence has something to do with like 10-year staff raises. It's certain things that has something to do with like it. And then Jay Blue also put out there it could be for some petty reasons, but you know, to me, I just feel like people just need to check their egos at the door. And you got a university run. You got a lot of enrollment coming into the university. This president has been bringing in the money for this said university right here, and I mean, and he's gonna continue to do it. So, um,
I mean, as I feel like, as long as, which I don't see that, I don't see President Hudson, as he is an alumni of Jackson State University, alumnus, I don't see him like trying to make the program fail. If anything, he would want the program to prosper after prime. He wouldn't want for Jackson State to just go back to oblivion. So from what I see that he has coach TC Taylor has the full support.
Yeah,
And I
I
don't
think
see
so
him
too.
trying to kill the football program. But
No,
I do think that with Dion, they're towards the end, and even all along, there's a power struggle there. And Dion plays bully ball with Jackson State, but at Colorado, he's, hey, I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? It's like a power struggle,
he
and
was Bobby Knight. He was trying to be Bobby Knight. He
That's the
was trying to be
wrong
Bobby
person.
Knight.
That's the wrong person to try to be like to
Yeah,
emulate
he was trying to be
because
like, remember the season on the brink? Remember that book?
yeah, I
They
remember that.
predicted. Yeah, the guy predicted that Indiana was getting a new president. He said as soon as the new president, it was Miles Brand. He said that Bobby Knight and Miles Brand was gonna have it out, and they did. And Miles Brand got rid of Bobby Knight. That's the same stuff Prime was doing. He
Yeah.
was trying to run the entire school. He thought he was bigger than the school.
Yeah, Mr. Kevin said, as long as Dr. Hudson has a clean audit, he ain't going nowhere and not mess with any side win.
and that's why I think it's important for HBCUs to put something in perspective. Our football program, it brings in money, but the research dollars brings in over $100 million.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and that's for a lot of
Yeah.
universities. Like the research dollars is what brings in the money. So when people
You
say,
know,
"Oh, the football program brings in money," it's research.
and listen, that's why I love Dr. Myers. Like I tell people, she didn't know how to run no football program and all that, but I love that lady. I thought Jackson did great things under Dr. Myers.
We
I really
did.
did.
As
Yeah,
far as
I
I
did.
think we did as far as when it came down to the research money and stuff like that. Yeah, she
Right.
she did a hell of a job.
I thought she did too, just didn't know nothing about athletics.
Which is why you if you don't know anything about athletics, then you should just let somebody else handle that.
Well, that's what
But
she did.
see,
She brought in
but
that Vivian Fuller.
she brought Vivian Fuller, but from
Fuller
what
in.
She
I've
don't know
heard,
nothing about
but
sports either, apparently.
what I heard, this is what somebody just said that Vivian was on coming in for the academic APR standard. I think that's the reason why Common G got fired. He did get fired because of the APR. We won the division twice in 2010 and 2011, but we couldn't go to the championship game because APR killed us. And so when you have APR issues, it's different because now they're going to get, NCAA is going to give you strict set times where you can practice everything. They're going to break it down to like, look, your kids, not saying that they ain't passing, but you're not graduating your kids at, at this rate. We want to make sure these kids actually are passing, and the kids that transfer in, the kids that transfer out, the ones that transfer out, they're going to stay on you for like 2 years and then it'll roll off.
Now listen, didn't Willie Simmons have that problem when he initially got the fam? Didn't they have APR issues?
They had APR issues. That's the reason why they went 9-2. They didn't even get. They couldn't represent the MEAC in Celebration Bowl.
Right. Okay. Yeah. A&T went, right?
A&T. It was one game. I think A&T did beat them outright, so they was kind of in a running at the time too. But
they beat A&T 2 years in a row. I think 2 years that they won the Celebration Bowl. The team that beat them in the MEAC was Florida A&M.
Yep. So, but that APR issue, like, you got to make sure that you are up on it. You got to make sure you're up on APR, because if not, the NCAA gonna come in and gonna run your program to tell your kids, no, this is when you practice, and this is when you go to your study hall. This is what you got to do in order for you to pass, in order for that number to go up. Higher the number, the higher the APR number, the higher. Basically, you pretty much in the clear. But if you got a low APR, and I think it's a 2 year. If you get a low APR 2 years in a row for your program, NCAA steps in.
Yeah.
So I think we need to now I know every school, even Power Five, they're gonna have a little bit of hit on their APR. Everybody's gonna have a hit on their APR because of the fact that
especially with
you
the
had
transfer
COVID.
portal.
Yeah,
With
the
the transfer portal and people
well,
just dropping
transfer
out.
is dropping out. That's what I said, but everybody's gonna have that hit when in a few because of the portal really don't hurt too many kids. It just your kids dropping out, you fail it, you can't graduate all your kids on time.
But it has helped black colleges now. It has helped us.
It helped. It helped us.
It helped us. Yeah. It's put us in contact with an athlete we haven't had since the 70s. We can get a big time athlete. And listen, in the 90s, we don't get a James Houston.
No.
We don't get a James Houston. In the 2000s, we don't get a James Houston.
But you got to rob a Porsche out of there.
Yeah, you're right. They're the Porsche.
You gotta, you got 90s. We still have some dogs come out of HBCUs as far as being drafted to go into the NFL. So
the 90s was what's the name? He dominated the SWAC in the 90s. Pete Richardson. The 90s was all about Pete Richardson. And what's his name? Steve McNair. Steve McNair. Yeah, he carried the conference on his back.
Yeah. So yeah, we got to get some more. We're gonna talk about some more of these recruits coming in because we got to go around. I don't want to just talk about Jackson State. We try to see go around.
I only got Jackson State, so if you got the other ones, go on.
We work on that, so we talk about the rest of the SWAC. But I will tell you this. I will tell everybody this. Mr. Campbell, Dr. Lori, y'all better watch out for them FAMU Rattlers because they pulling in some hitters.
Who they pulling in?
They got some. They trust me. They got some dogs because they try to get their lick back. They're basically, if you look at this, it's just like I'm gonna tell you the recruiting in the SWAC, how the recruiting in the SWAC is. Because you had to deal with Dion for 2.5 years, right? Dion went into the transfer portal. Dion was 40 transfer, 40 JUCO, and the rest of them was high school kids. In which, he didn't feel like he couldn't, he thought he couldn't develop him, or he was just in a rush of time. Because my whole thing is, I think the way he did it is that you put these kids together from the transfer portal, you take them out of the JUCO, and not worry about too much of the high school kids. But he put that in order to where he can actually pretty much try to dominate the SWAC. He tried to dominate the SWAC because he knew if you get kids that was in a portal that was pretty much kind of like somewhat established.
Pull up the thing for FAMU. I mean, everybody was calling us Transfer U, and then they caught on and they started getting from the transfer portal. There's a reason why there's a ranking for transfers. Like you get a composite ranking, but they also have transfer rankings as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think people was playing catch up. Like, oh, you're good because you got all those people from the portal. But some teams went to the portal and got 20 and 30 people, and they still did bad.
Yeah, but to me, I feel like when you do stuff like that, you don't have no type of chemistry. You're not developing. You still have to develop these kids, regardless if they came out of they was in the transfer portal or not. You still have to develop these kids. You still, because no kid is going to transfer portal or not. No kid is going to have all the nuances and like the tricks of the trade when it comes to playing football. They want to get to the next level. You got to get that. You got to get that development. You got to get that coaching. That's the reason. Like I said, Jackson State, for example, with James Houston, even with Isaiah Land, for FAMU, Isaiah Land is too light to be a linebacker, and I mean he too light to be a defensive end, but we don't know if he's a linebacker or not. Let me see who's that. But on the real, we can't. You still have to develop these kids. So what I'm saying is, and I understand we are moved on from that, but in a sense, most teams in the SWAC are building their teams because they want to stop Deion. Deion was the main catalyst for why teams are being built the way that they are now in the SWAC. It's just like, for example, it's like this with LeBron. When LeBron was with the Heat, the LeBron was on, they had to build the team to stop LeBron. Like the Celtics with Garnett and Ray Allen and Paul Pierce. They built the team to pretty much stop the Lakers. They built the team to pretty much stop Detroit, but they really built it to stop LeBron because LeBron was kicking everybody's tail. So, I don't know who you are, but if it's any moderators in the chat room, can y'all please get the person out of here? Because but anyway, that's the way that they built the teams. They built the teams to get at Deion. Because Deion went and said that y'all ain't good enough. That's what he said. He tried to be a conduit of change. He wasn't a conduit of change. He was basically a conduit for Jackson. And he knew when the fall 21 came, his dogs was coming in, and everybody was just going to be on the ride for it. So that's my whole thing about that. And right now,
these signees for FAMU, I done pulled up 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, I see them.
I don't know anything about FAMU recruiting, and when I was I didn't see any. I guess they wait until big signing day they wait until Wednesday to come out.
All teams are pretty much, all schools are pretty much, kids are pretty much going to wait till Wednesday for everybody to come out. So that's really about how they do. Yep, Mr. Kelvin. Just like I said, his main dog was his son, and he was the difference in the SWAC. Like, talent-wise, when it came to skill players, everybody's the same. If you didn't have that dog at the quarterback,
we went and got us 2 or 3 more dogs that are all capable of being QB1, not just playing backup ball. Yep. I hope he doesn't run. Well, I'm confident. Like I like all of our QBs from what I've seen. They all look like they are capable of being QB1, which is very important.
That's true. Quick side note, Jackson State has cut the lead down to 9 with the 3 ball. 59-50. Still got like 7 minutes to let go in the second half. Well, we're not going to find no Shador, but Shador is his own person. And I give Shador all the credit. I give him all the, because what Shador did out there for the past 2 years at Jackson State in the SWAC was pretty much all his talent. I'm gonna say it just like that. He got it, So I'm gonna give QB1 his respect. I can't say that he sucked. I can't say that. I can't say none of that stuff.
No, I've always been a Shador advocate. Always, even with his issues. See, this is the thing. Everybody was talking about Jackson State's offensive line. Even with the struggles with the offensive line, he was able to go undefeated twice in the SWAC.
We in the wide receiver room is gonna make the QB look good. QB just got to give it to him. That's the main thing. The wide receiver room is gonna look real good. You just got to get the ball to the wide receivers. So who will get as far as who will be QB1? We don't know yet. We won't know until after. We won't know until after fall ball. I mean after summer ball. So somebody said this is funny. Somebody said something about on Twitter, like FAMU is going to run the SWAC. I'm sorry to say this, Mr. Campbell, but FAMU is going to. Somebody said on Twitter FAMU was going to run the SWAC.
I think that was old dude that's got the Panther show. The Panthers podcast.
He didn't say that. It was somebody else.
Oh, okay. Well, me and him
No. They cool. He an Aggie. So I told him, well, here's the thing. Beat Jackson State and you can talk. I'm just being honest and I'm just being real. Beat Jackson State, you can talk. But you haven't beaten us in the last.
Humbled the SWAC for 2 years in a row. When I tell you everybody is trying to get it back in blood and they're thinking, "Ooh, it's a wounded animal. Let's go ahead and get it while they're wounded." And it's just not. It's not gonna happen like that. Like this signing class is really legit, and you guys are gonna be even more surprised on Wednesday. Like. It's real legit.
Dr. Laura said she tired of the me at folks' mouth. she knows she in the SWAC. Dr. Laura said, I'm in the SWAC now. I'm tired of y'all mouths now.
So this is the year that the SWAC wins the Celebration Bowl, right?
It got to be the year we win the Celebration Bowl.
Got to win the Celebration Bowl.
Look. We got Celebration Bowl 2.0 in August. That game against South Carolina State. When I tell you, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that was another game that got 2 million plus views.
We got an NC State alum up on the chat. Hey, Corey Mack. Let's put some on when the game come around.
Did they get an offensive coordinator yet?
I don't even know.
They fired the offensive coordinator. Did he say anything about an offense coordinator?
I'm gonna ask hey, Corey, man, did y'all get a new offensive coordinator? We need to know y'all got an offensive coordinator.
Did y'all replace Shaq Davis? Did you get another Shaq Davis? Did y'all find another? Did Jablonski declare for the draft too?
Yeah, I think he did.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
Those are 2 of your big players now.
They got 2 major commitments, 2 running backs. I know 2 major kids.
He said you haven't heard anything.
He hadn't heard nothing because that's going to be key.
Mr. Campbell talking about it's going to take FAMU to do it. Man, bye. You got to get back past us first.
Well, we'll see. I'm gonna tell you just like this. We'll see what happens in the OVC as always.
OVC?
The OBC, not OVC.
OBC, yeah.
Orange Blossom
I'm just saying,
Classic.
listen, I don't want to hear nothing about no Ohio Valley. The OBC. Man, please. That hillbilly conference.
Ooh,
Man, Tennessee State.
Dr. Wilson said that she's tired of her MEAC friends saying, "Fam, you need to come back." Why would the MEAC?
I know that's right. Well, listen, so y'all can bring the crowd, and they don't have no crowd. I remember one time they showed it on TV. It was Florida A&M was playing Delaware State, and all the people at the game was from Florida A&M.
Wow.
Yeah, they had a one-sided stadium. I said, this is a mess.
Wow.
Yeah, they were at Delaware State, and all the people, they were on they had a one-sided stadium with the stands on one side, and all the people at the game were Florida A&M people.
I know. Look, come
on, Leonard.
August 26th. That is most definitely Celebration Bowl 2.0. We will be getting our revenge, getting it back in blood. We got some beef up there at the D line and at the O line. Talking about some big boys. Good night.
It should be a repeat because I'm thinking North Carolina Central comes back. They come back.
Jackson State just cut the game down by 6 now, 63-57 with 3.5 minutes left in the game. So
I knew it was going to be a long game. I knew that.
Well, at least they getting it back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Fight back. Y'all are on national TV now. Fight back.
I just like for Jackson. You know what? If Jackson and Southern could get them some of them African boys, them 7-feet Africans, and them big old kids from France, we could compete with some people. We just don't have the big people in the SWAC. We don't have them 6'10s and 7-footers we need. Hey, Doc, give what's his name? What's the coach of Jackson's name?
T.C. Taylor.
No, the basketball coach. What's his name?
Oh, Mo Williams.
Listen, take up some money for Mo to go to Africa. Take up some money, and send, because they got an NBA academy over there in Africa, don't they? What they got over there?
Did you know they also have a football academy out there too?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Doc, y'all take up some money. I don't know how much it's going to cost for. You can drive him from Jackson to Atlanta and put him on a flight here and fly him over to Africa. Let him stay about 2 weeks looking for 7-foot Africans.
About 4,000.
Because there's a lot of them over there. Isn't it?
He said go to get some Africans. Oh.
Yeah, go get some Africans and go get some of them black boys in France. That's Tony Parker and remember Boris Diaw? When the kid named Boris Diaw?
Yep.
Yeah, let's go get some of them black.
Even if Jackson State does not win this game outright, I am so proud of them for coming back from 16-35 to being within 2-possession game.
This is a prelude to that tournament I'm talking about. This is a prelude.
Before looking for the next Matumbo.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go to Africa and get some of them boys. Because now they got all them big boys in Zaire. Isn't it where all them tall kids come from? Isn't it Zaire? Or the Congo or something?
Mr. Campbell, right?
What'd he say?
He said, what? Come on now. Mr. Campbell's clowning.
Oh, yeah, you know Mr. Campbell be clowning on the show. That's Uncle right there. Said Bethune-Cookman won tonight. What?
Okay, Theus, get your green line back.
Doc, y'all don't remember. Listen, we should love Reggie. Our first time I saw him, he was at UNLV. He played for Jerry Tartagnan, and we loved him when he was in Chicago. He came to Atlanta. Them guys were so jealous. Dominique and them was so jealous of him. He didn't play here for 1 year. We loved him, man. Man, we loved some Reggie Theus, boy. He was a 6'7" guard.
It's a big win for him tonight, too. 88-77. Alabama A&M.
Oh, okay. Was it in Huntsville?
It was in Daytona.
It was in Daytona, okay.
Yeah, in Daytona, 88-77. So, I said,
Mr. Campbell, what you think about Reggie Theus coaching FAMU boys? What do you think about that? Reggie Theus.
How y'all gonna just wait? Hold up! Don't be trying to hijack him now.
Reggie Theus coaching the Mighty Rattlers basketball program.
Wow.
The running, what do you call them? The running Rattlers. Call them the running Rattlers.
Oh Lord, he said,
Yeah, the score. I put the score up.
What was the score?
88-77. Mr. Campbell talking about. He said, I used to love the white man. We're talking call it OJ 2.0 in Atlanta.
Whoa.
Hey, man, we love those Theus, man. I remember. See, he was the star in Chicago before Michael Jordan got there. It was Reggie Theus.
They need to bring Alvin Wyatt back. The way he was in that video. Listen,
man, Alvin Wyatt ought to be 80 years old now, isn't it? How old is he now?
I don't know.
Come back for
be in his deep 70s.
He probably in his 70s, but shoot, somebody line him up, edge him up real good.
Oh, he got that. You know what that is, man. That's a Clairol. What y'all call it? Miss Clairol?
Alvin Wyatt was born in 47.
So he's 75.
Well,
he's got some age on him.
He used all of his little energy giving that speech, and I was ready to put on some shoulder pads. I said, okay.
Listen, I remember when he used to coach girls basketball and was really good.
He said he still wants to coach. If he still want to coach, hey, let him go out there.
I think that would definitely bring back credibility to the football program, because he's not just gonna let the football program be run any kind of way. But I will say this: Bethune-Cookman is not going to be able to just fork over a whole bunch of money. The alumni is going to have to come out their pockets.
Well, listen, Doc, you talked about a guy that was working for Willie Taggart. What you said he was a graduate of Bethune-Cookman. What happened to him?
I think they're still in the talks with him.
What was his name? He had been at FIU. And he was a graduate of Bethune-Cookman.
BCU's on a 2-game winning streak.
His name is Raymond Woody, isn't it?
Yeah, Raymond Woody.
Raymond Woody. Yeah, why do you want to just give him the job? Give the job to Raymond Woody and let's move on. Let's move on now.
Yeah, I think I did read an article. One of the alums actually said that they did a poll before Ed Reed was hired, and Raymond Woody was actually on this alumni poll. He was outweighed Ed Reed for who they
give
hired.
him the job and let's move on. I don't want to talk about no Ed Reed no more.
Talk about all the things Sean can do and be the spokesmodel for Beijing hair color for men.
Who is that?
He said, Coach Why?
Oh, you think he colors his hair?
Oh Lord.
Yeah, there's Shine, baby.
Oh, that was
Shine lived in the dormitory with the boys. You remember that?
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he lived in the dormitories with the football players.
He said, "Yeah, bring back that BCU wide bone."
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm gonna tell you like that offense right there.
That's Patel Troutman. That was what's that kid was named? Alan Suber, who should be considered too. Alan Suber. Where's Alan Suber?
Man, that offense was.
Oh, it was something else, man. They call it it came from Georgia Southern. The guy who was his offense coordinator.
Johnson.
Yeah, the guy who ran it for Wyatt was named Raymond Gross, I believe. Was it Raymond? Somebody from Georgia. Raymond Gross. He ran that offense for Bethune-Cookman. He brought that offense from Georgia Southern. And they named it the Wyatt Bone. Now, when it was at Georgia Southern, they called it the Ham Bone because of a guy from Defuniak Springs, Florida, named Tracy. What was his name? Tracy. Was it Tracy Wyatt? No, Tracy Ham. His name was Tracy Ham.
Okay. Yeah,
and they called it the Ham Bone.
Yeah, but say they when he ran that offense, it's like it was hard to stop. Like I didn't get started. I didn't start watching BCU football, a little bit of BCU football until after, let's say, after watching a little bit of Rasheed Mathis, and when he was there, and then you see them running that. I wouldn't call it a wishbone because it wasn't a wishbone. It was just like a variation of the flex, and that's like, man, they is killing. I see why FAMU and North Carolina A&T would be so mad at Bethune-Cookman, because he would run that offense like he would run it like probably like 60 times in a game and just bludgeon you to death. And then he done beat you so bad with the running game. All he had to do just do a play action, boom, receiver going down the sideline for like a 60-yard touchdown. It is just crazy because he didn't really have the athletes. He didn't really want the athletes like that to run a spread. He just wanted to run the offense that he was just known to be, he was known for. It's kind of the same way like Mr. Ford when Eddie Robinson was, he was at Grambling. He wanted to run that wing T.
That's what he ran.
And ran it to death.
Yeah.
And the thing is, could you stop it?
Listen, Wyatt was all right till Billy Joe showed up. And see, the problem with Billy Joe was he could not score him. Billy Joe would run up 60 and 70 points like it was nothing. Now, he could clown on Ken Riley because, see, that thing about that wide bone is if your defensive players are undisciplined and make the wrong decision, that's a 50 and 60-yard run. But the thing about Billy Joe was Billy was going to score 60 and 70 points on you. So Billy nullified that Wyatt bone. Because you remember he came in there with quarterbacks like that boy I just told you about that changed Big Daddy's mind, Pat Bonner, came from Temple. Then he came from that boy that with Albany State, Quinn Gray, J.J.1, was it J.J.1 Snyder? Mr. Campbell, what was his name? J.J.1 Snyder. He's a big-time coach somewhere right now. I wish we could get him in HBCU football. But, they could just when Billy Joe was there. They could, that Gulf Coast, somebody put it in the chat, that Gulf Coast offense, man, that thing was unstoppable. It was unstoppable.
Oh, yeah. Like I said.
The only way you could stop him was to keep him off the field.
I was at that game, Mr. Ford.
Yeah,
it was 45-7.
Yeah, that's right.
It was.
Yeah, because he started that year. Billy Joe had three quarterbacks. One was named Mike Moran. One was named Jose Laureano. He was a transfer from North Carolina State. And the last one was that boy, Pat Bonner. He was a transfer from Temple. And
Corey Mack. Yep. Casey Prentice out of DeSoto, because Casey came from TCU. He transferred to FAMU.
Yeah, I remember him too.
And he ran the same offense, and he was good.
Yeah.
He was good. He was great. I didn't know Billy Joe would try to put up 100 at Central State. That's something I didn't know.
Didn't he do that to Hampton? Didn't they meet Hampton in Milwaukee and put up like 90 points or something? Somebody from Hampton, tell the truth. Didn't he put 90 points on y'all in Milwaukee back in the 80s? I think this was in the 80s. Because let me tell you something. Now, nobody wants to give them credit for it. But from 1983 until Billy Joe left for Florida A&M, Central State was probably the best black college program it was. The other black schools would always holler about, well, they NAIA, anybody can go there, but they had some ball players. That's, what's that guy's name? It was with the Eagles. Hugh Douglas and them. Yep. Yeah. They had some players now. That boy that was your offensive tackle with the Dallas Cowboys. What's his name? From
Eric
Philadelphia.
Williams.
Eric Williams was on that team. Vince Buck, Art Hunter. They had a boy from H.D. Woodson in D.C. name was Herman Mosley. Because either they would play for the NAIA championship or they would win it. That was Billy Joe. John
Hoy said, he beat Hampton 86-14.
That's right, in Milwaukee, I think.
Oh my God!
And I think he put it to Howard one year too. Now he put it on Howard.
Yeah,
why is that simple?
who told me about that? My aunt used to tell me about Central State, and I just read up. I used to have this magazine, and it was number straight black college football.
Yeah,
and with the bands, like, and I'm talking about.
They came to wait a minute. They came down there in was it '88? They came to FAM, and we came down because everybody wanted to see them. Because that's the North, that's Ohio, Xenia, Ohio. We don't see them, so they came to FAMU. This is during the Ken Riley era, and Ken Riley had a redshirt freshman quarterback. His name was Tony Ezell. He had walked off from the University of Alabama and showed up in Tallahassee on Florida A&M's campus. And they gave him a good game until that boy Art Hunter, I think he separated Tony's shoulder. And that was the difference. But for the first three quarters, it was a very close game. Because a lot of us came. I was in South Georgia at the time. We wanted to see Central State in person because they would come down. Now, sometimes they would come down and play Fort Valley. Let's see. They didn't really come deep south, but they came to Florida A&M that year, and we went to see them. And I saw your boy Eric Williams, Art Hunter. They had a boy he didn't make. He went to the coach. His name was Jerry Albritton, I think. He was a wide receiver, but he didn't make it. They had a guy named Vince Buck. I think he went to the New Orleans Saints. They had some players on that team now. Yeah.
Says Central State talking about Billy Joe had all them gangsters on the team.
Yeah. And he had about 200 boys up there in senior, man. Because the president was named Dr. Art Thomas. He was the highest paid person on the campus. Billy Joe was the second highest paid person on the campus. Yeah.
But yeah, we got a preview tomorrow, Timona, for the 6 o'clock.
Are we gonna do special teams and the quarterbacks?
Yes, we do special teams and the quarterbacks, and then we'll do the whole roundup as far as preview for National Signing Day. And then tomorrow too, make sure y'all check out I actually got approved to interview the athletic director, Dr. Monique Carroll, for Chicago State University.
That's gonna be good, man.
Yeah. I didn't even know she was. I didn't even know. I read up on her now. I didn't know she was the athletic director for Houston Tillotson.
Woo!
I didn't even know that.
Woo.
And she went to Pine Bluff, so she got HBCU in her blood. So we gonna get going on that right there. So
the thing is, I mean, we would love for them to be in a black conference, but the logistics, you're talking about you in Chicago and you're trying to get to Montgomery on a Monday night, or you trying to get to Montgomery on a Wednesday night. Do you fly? Do you ride a bus? What do you do?
It's kind of the same thing when you got Central State that's in Ohio and they in a SIAC.
Yeah, they in there. So you're right. I'm just wondering how do you do that?
I don't know, but it'll be something that I would ask on the show for tomorrow to make sure, see like logistics, if it's approved, if the president signs off on it, what conference will you go to?
That's true.
Who would you be calling to join said conference? Because once they approve it, you got 2 years to try to get everything maneuvered and going. So you got to where you can you could get tryouts, walk-ons, and then you could go for your if you got enough money, get you enough revenue, you can go for your scholarship players, and you can do your recruiting. So you should be able to fill a decent team and to get the coaching staff all in place before the fall of 2025.
So, Doc, did y'all lose the game to Southern? What?
Yep, we just lost.
What was the score?
73-62.
I'm wondering what was that attendance like down there? What, because that building holds about what, 8,000? How
Yeah,
big?
I think it was packed.
That's what I
It
was
was,
thinking. It should have been packed because you're talking about Southern Jackson on a Monday night. Everybody's in school. Yeah, that should have been a big crowd.
yeah. So I mean, to me, it would be tough to start from scratch, but it will be good because now you can actually, once you get your funding, wherever conference you go to, you get your funding, you'll be able to actually fund the program. So, excuse me. So basically, yeah, yeah. From what I heard, that she's a legit athletic director.
Yeah. Now,
And
Doc, now let me ask you something. Did the Big 12 prove this weekend that they the best basketball conference in America?
as far as basketball wise,
Yeah, I thought they proved it again because but the last 5 years now, I've said that the Big 12 is the best basketball in the country. That Kansas State, that Baylor, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. What did you think they proved that this week?
well, I'm looking at score. Baylor losing right now to Texas by 4 with 17 seconds left.
Okay,
But overall, if you're looking at it,
because they stomp the SEC this week.
yep. If you're looking at it, 3 teams are up are at the top in that conference with Iowa State, Kansas State, and Texas. They all 6-2 in the conference. Then you got the other 3 teams, TCU, Baylor, and Kansas at 5-3, but Kansas State has the better overall record at 18-3 overall. So
The guy that's at Kansas State, he came from where? Didn't he come from one of them Texas schools? The
I'm
black
about to say
the
I'm about to
assistant
say
at,
Frank. I'm about to say Frank Martin. Frank Martin was at South Carolina.
this is that black coach at Kansas State. Where did he come from?
Let me see.
I want to say he came from one of them Texas schools, didn't he?
Let's see. It is. Man.
Hey, Mr. Campbell, y'all looking for a basketball coach after the season? How about Kevin Ollie? Used to be at UConn. Remember him? Kevin Ollie? You remember him, Doc?
Mm-hmm.
He would be nice at FAMU, wouldn't he?
My thing is, what would you pay him?
What you think about 200,000? What 300,000?
Probably about 2.
Because he got a
Jerome.
big. You
Oh
remember?
yeah, Jerome Tang is the head coach for Kansas State.
And he's from where? Where did he come from?
He came from. Oh, I didn't know he. 4-0 interim coach at Baylor.
So he was at Baylor.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm saying, Mr. Campbell. Kevin Ollie, can y'all pay him $300,000 a year, or can you pay him $200,000 a year? Because y'all got that big old beautiful arena. You ain't got no championship team down there. How long that man been down there? You got that big, because your arena bigger than Georgia Tech's arena. Your arena hold 9,000. I think Tech hold 8,000. The Al Lawson Center, what is it called? Al Lawson Center.
Al Lawson Center.
Listen, that thing hold 9,000 people. And why y'all won't invest in the basketball?
Yeah,
you ain't had listen, they ain't had a basketball coach down there at Florida A&M since that man from TCC. What was his name? What was his name, Mr. Campbell? That white man was at TCC, came over there and did a good job at FAM, and y'all ran him off. What was his name? Gillespie. I think wasn't the name Gillespie? What was that coach at FAM? The last good coach y'all had at FAMU. Wasn't his name Coach Gillespie? He was at that junior college called TCC. Isn't that right, Mr. Campbell?
Talking about, he said you give them 300,000 at FAMU. They ain't never care about basketball.
No, they haven't. That's what I said. The last coach they had was that. His name was Gillespie.
Mr. Ford, Jerome Tang. Jerome Tang basically was Scott Drew's right-hand man.
That's what I thought it was. Something. I thought he'd been somewhere in Texas. Listen, man, the Big 12 is the best basketball in America. That Power 5 stuff, it's that Big 12. See, they want y'all to think it's the ACC, but it's that Big 12. That Big 12 got the best basketball. Yeah. They got the best basketball. You talking about Kansas State. You talking about Baylor, Texas Tech, Texas, Oklahoma. Who else I'm missing?
Iowa State.
Iowa State.
That thing they kind of fallen off. OU kind of fell off.
Oh, and Oklahoma State too, right? TCU, Oklahoma that's State, right.
And Texas Tech really fell off. Texas Tech fell out after Chris Beard left.
Right.
West Virginia, I don't know what's up, but West Virginia is still being coached by
Bobby Huggins. Bobby Huggins, yeah. I don't know. Bobby might be on his last leg now. They looking terrible. Terrible.
So the main thing about when it comes to the Big 12, can you recruit Texas? You can recruit nationally, but because majority of teams are going to be Tech, Baylor, TCU, Texas, that makes up probably like 20-30% of the Big 12.
Well, listen, it's 28 million folks in Texas. Why do you need to go outside of Texas if you're in the Big 12? Why do you need to go outside of Texas? It's enough players in Texas for the whole country.
Yeah, but see, when it comes to basketball, Mr. Ford, the Texas schools really don't fare well now with keeping kids from the state in the state.
Okay, so them boys from Houston, they not from Texas?
I mean, they Houston, but my thing is, you talking about from the University of Houston?
Yeah,
they all from Texas, but
what about Baylor? Where them kids from Baylor from?
They look pretty much like national.
Okay, what about Texas?
They got some that stay in state, but the thing about it is Texas, they want them to recruit the Austin area. Austin, Round Rock, Pflugerville, Leander, Lake Travis, they want to recruit all those schools around there.
What about TCU? Where the kids from TCU from?
TCU mostly is they can have some nationally, but they pretty much DFW.
What about SMU?
SMU is national, but most of them from Dallas. Now, this is the thing about SMU. They try to recruit. They want to recruit Dallas. They want to recruit the inner city schools in Dallas, the DISD. So it's they try to keep their footprint because of the simple fact that they're trying to get the inner city on going. They try to get the inner city on Mockingbird Lane.
Because see, my thing is the SWAC is not utilizing Texas enough. We should have an office out in Texas. We should be bringing all them schools, especially them SWAC West schools. All them schools should be packed with Texas kids. Yeah. All them kids should have Texas kids on it. Now, when I was at Grambling, Texas was good to Grambling, and Rob made sure he went into Houston and Dallas to get his boys. But I'm saying that Southern needs to utilize Texas more. Alcorn, you getting them? Jackson State's getting them.
Texas for Jackson State when it comes to the state of Texas and Jackson State, we had a good relationship. It just got bigger when Dion came in because he came from Dallas. Yeah. So it was
what
easy.
About Pine Bluff? Is Pine Bluff loaded with Texas kids?
Pine Bluff Texas, but they want to focus on South. They want to focus on South Arkansas. They want to get that.
But listen, ain't no people in Arkansas. That's a
They
small
want to,
state.
but they want to get they get their people. They get their kids from Memphis, Southern Arkansas, or probably even Little Rock and the Delta in Mississippi.
Let me ask you this question:
and probably North Louisiana.
What is the population of black population in Arkansas? That's what I'm saying. Ain't no black folk down there. What's the population of what's the black population of what's the population of Arkansas, and then what's the black population?
Let me see.
Because Texas got the highest number of black people in America. They got over 4 million blacks in Texas.
There's 3 million people in Arkansas.
So how many blacks are down there? What's the population of blacks?
The demographics.
Yeah.
400.
Wait a minute. 400. So they don't have 500,000 blacks.
Nope.
Shoot, they ought to have it made down there. They almost got a state with no black folk.
Yeah. So like I said, is when it comes down to it. Now with Prairie View should be recruiting Houston. They should recruit Austin, and they should recruit East Texas, because that should be your. And you can come up to the DFW area, because that would be your hunting grounds right there. But see, the thing is, everybody recruits those areas.
Yeah, but now Prairie View is the second oldest school in Texas, right?
Prairie View
in Texas A&M, the oldest school in Texas. They
both founded the same year, I think.
But I'm saying because they okay. Now listen, then to me, Prairie View should be able to get players from all over Texas. They shouldn't have a section they got to go to.
Yep, that is. Yep, there you go, Mr. Campbell. This is because white coaches dog HBCUs so they can send these kids to the Power 5. Because once you send it,
to understand, like, their facilities in high school in Texas are like better than even some white FCS college camp. Like the facilities that they have them built almost like their blue blood program. So there's millions of dollars that's invested even at the high school.
Oh yeah. And then another thing, this is, and I agree with Corey Mack and Lando saying, is that Prairie View is late on offers. I don't know why you're late on offers, but also because you recruit Louisiana and Florida, because that's where Eric Dooley recruits Louisiana heavily. That's why you have a lot more kids from Louisiana on the team for Prairie View.
So are they continuing that? Because he's gone.
I think Bubba should go. I think Bubba is going to go and run it up in Texas.
Okay, so he's going to the cities, not what I call the hinterland. So he's going to do Houston, Dallas.
Yeah. Now Texas Southern does Dallas. Texas Southern does Dallas real well. They should do Houston too. Hey, I agree with you. Allen Stadium now ain't even the best stadium in Texas now. The best stadium in Texas right now is McKinney ISD Stadium. And then on top of that, Prosper got a nice stadium.
How much did those stadiums cost?
Probably about $60 to $70 million.
Yeah, that's big time.
High school stadium?
Yes. Trust me, come to Texas.
That's why when people be talking about Prairie View is still very much so underfunded. Yes, they have beautiful facilities, but still very much so underfunded.
Yeah, they are, because they on that list too.
And so, like come to Texas, come to Dallas. Period. You'll see the difference between a one high school town like Allen, Prosper. Well, Prosper got two, but I don't count the second one. But Allen, Even McKinney has like 4 high schools, but they share like 3. Um, uh, let's see who else. South Lake Carroll got their own stadium. Grapevine, which is pretty much around the corner from South Lake Carroll, they share a stadium with Collierville Heritage. It is nice. They did renovations to it. Also, let's see, you got, if it's a one high school town or one high school like Alito, Alito, one high school town, nice stadium, nice facilities, and they have 11 state football titles too. That started in 1998, and the mastermind and the architect for those high school championships, they retiring. They retired this week.
Doc, this is my final question. What is it that Alabama State got to do for that Demetrius Davis kid? What are the things they got to do? Do they need a new offense coordinator? Do they just need to let him play? What do they have to do for this kid? Because this kid was a 5-star.
I feel like with Demetrius Davis, you have to open up the playbook, let him do his thing, but also he needs to be able to learn from an actual quarterback.
You mean a quarterback as offense coordinator?
Like an offensive coordinator. Or like just being taught by
was a wide receiver coach.
Or just
he was a wide receiver.
Or have good QB, a good QB coach for him too. But he also has to take it in too. Well, Timona, I will see you tomorrow at 6.
Thank you, everybody. It was a nice night. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I do have to go ahead and tap out. I gotta go handle sleep, and I have to get up in the morning, take my son to school and everything. Oh, yeah. But everybody, we're gonna be back here tomorrow.
6 o'clock. So
don't miss out. That's 7 p.m. Eastern time. And if you haven't already, subscribed to my channel. Y'all have a blessed night.
All right.
See. But yeah, to me, Demetrius Davis has to he has to be able to learn how to be a quarterback. If he learns how to be a quarterback, then you will see something totally different in him for the next season than what you saw last season.
I'm looking for it. I want him to have a breakout year.
Demetrius, I don't know. Demetrius is the second best high school quarterback in Texas history, because Orlando, I could run down a whole bunch of quarterbacks that can beat him instantly. Like Garrett Gilbert. Garrett Gilbert came from Lake Travis and dogged everybody 3 straight championships. Her channel is called SheLovesThee on YouTube. But also with Garrett Gilbert, I could go shoot. Andrew Body is the 5th leading passer in Texas football history. So that you got Chase Daniel went to South Lake Carroll. Hell, Graham Harrell from Ennis. If you really want to go, Reggie McNeil, he from Lufkin. Vince Young over at Madison, Houston. Indeed, I can go all day. I could go all day. Greg Ward when he was at John Tyler. Greg Ward was a quarterback at John Tyler. It was a damn good one too. But I can go all day. Drew Brees. Yep. I go Drew Brees. You go trying to figure out kid play trying to figure out about the kid that I forgot where he played at. His name, Patrick Mahomes. That's what I'm about to say. From White House. Breeze was a starter at Westlake. Matt Stafford at Highland Park. Breeze was a starter at Westlake. He was a starter at Westlake. Jalen Hurts over at Channelview and Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is pretty much. You said Demetrius Day went 47-2. Kyler Murray went 43-0. Never lost a high school game and won 3 state titles. Yeah. Mahomes used to get drugged at White House until they switched up the district. And then you saw a whole different, you seen the difference between that. His senior year, the game they played against Mesquite Poteet and Malik Jefferson, he lit them up, but they lost by a field goal, I think. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm just saying. You could put Sam Ellinger up in there. You could put it's a kid from Hbcu that's up there. It's a kid from China Springs. Yeah. It's just quarterbacks. We ain't even like we really ain't get to no running backs in Texas football history. Shoot, you got the best running back in Texas football history is Jonathan Gray. And we never seen his full potential because he stayed hurt when he was in college. Adrian Peterson, Cedric Benson, my dog Sergio Kendall, that played both ways in high school, and Woodrow Wilson. Yep, LT. LaDainian Thomason, same graduating classmate, same class we came out, 1997. Seen him play person in twice. They put Waco University, I think there was 95, 96. They put Waco University in our district. I went to Cedar Hill, put it in our district. And he gave us the business for about 250, 260 yards. Both times we played him. Yep, Earl Campbell, Tyler Rose. Can we go? Rodney Thomas, Ricky Williams. But Ricky Williams, which Ricky Williams? We talking about Ricky Williams from California. You talking about Ricky Williams from Duncanville, because the Ricky Williams from California, I don't count him. He played at Texas, but I don't count him as somebody who actually played high school in Texas. Eric Dixon from Sealy. Craig James down there at Stafford in Houston. Byron, bro, what you know about Byron Hanspard, man? Come on now. What you know about Hanspard? What you know about Hanspard? Gave Carter the business in the playoffs. Cyrus Gray. What you know about Cyrus Gray, Lando? It's something I don't know. Y'all from the D, y'all from the Triple D that I didn't know about, and y'all ain't want to tell you, boy. What school you went to, Corey? Let me know what school you went to. You said he ran 300 yards on y'all for homecoming. Oh, you went to Martin. See, and you said against Byron Hanspard, Arlington Martin wasn't that great. Dez White was more of a quarterback, but he was an athlete. Oh, come on, bro. Come on now. I don't know. I just see it from my eyes though. I'm telling you, I'm seeing it from my eyes. But hey, man, it's good to catch up with. Uh, Arlington and GP not good at football. Well, Arlington has damn near 12 high schools, and Grand Prairie always gets their all the kids want to go to South Grand Prairie. Um, in fact, that's where Willis Patrick is from. South. He go. Everybody go to South Grand Prairie. They don't really go to Grand Prairie like that. Um, the only one I knew that was at Grand Prairie that was even decent was Red Bomar. So, but everybody go to South Grand Prairie. Arlington, you got. I can name schools. You got Old Arlington High, Lamar, Sam Houston, Bowie. You got Eastern Hills. You got Western Hills. You got um, what's the other school? Seguin. You got um, now Summit is Mansfield. Martin, Bowie. Yeah, you got it's a lot of schools in Arlington, and they go at each other. Yeah, there's a lot of people moving out to Mansfield. Sam Houston. Yep. So you got Sam Houston. You got all those kids right. You got that school right there, and then Arlington is one of those places where they can't really grow out because it's landlocked. Bro, he said they good at soccer though. Come on now, you killing me, Pete. But man, it was a great show tonight. Be back at it again, 2:00. So y'all make sure y'all tune in to that with Dr. Monique Carroll. The wife says hello to everybody. She said, hey. She done finished her homework. She don't know how to act now when she ain't got to go to work like it on a week. That's not a weekend. But like I said, we'll be here tomorrow at 2:00 with that interview. Hey man, I'm gonna see if y'all can hear this. If y'all can hear this, something is wrong with this thing. Say hello, First Lady. Chuck.
Hey, what's up, Chuck?
Thank you, Corey, man. Thank you. Thank y'all, man. Thank y'all. But again, like I said, we'll be here tomorrow too. Then with Timona, 6:00. Do a preview, and that's it. And then Wednesday, depending on the weather, she'll be giving updates on Twitter, and we'll do a recap show as far as all the recruits for National Signing Day. So, but hey y'all, make sure, like I said, still doing crowdfunding for to donate for Bethune-Cookman. Make sure send it to the Cash App right here. My goal is $2,000 by mid-February. If not, I have to probably push it a little bit further to the end of February, but it's all for the kids, and that is my good deed right there. But if you want to go ahead and donate, you go donate. Doesn't matter if it's 5, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100. It doesn't matter. Just go ahead and donate because we're doing this for the kids, y'all. That's all it is. That's all that matters. But in the meantime, between time, as always, I'm your boy Doc Holliday. Again, this has been another HBCU Overdrive live stream where HBCUs matter. Make sure that you get get the replay show on YouTube. Also, if you're on Twitter, you can always look at it on Twitter. And if you have on Facebook Live, check it out on Facebook Live. But we are on all three platforms. Y'all just get ready for this week, man, because we on the road. But until then, y'all be blessed. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay dangerous. I'm out. Peace.